And we're live. Let's see. Get some housework done real quick. Set up the stream. Oh shit. Touch my mic. Let's see. Go over here. Don't need to hear that. Less than a minute ago. 0 viewers so far. Now we play the waiting game. Kombucha. Well, we got one person so far. Let's see who it is. It's a Sunday night in your prime, and you're here. 2 people, okay. Here's the link. If anyone wants to come on here and join me. I actually do have a guest scheduled to come on as well, which is not usual for this weekend chat thing, so it should be pretty interesting to see how the thing goes. Oh boy. Yep, here's the link for the chat if you want to join. I actually have more than I do have a planned guest today, so I might not let everybody on here, but yeah, we'll figure it out. Let's see. We got what's up, Mystery School? What's going on, Markley Maddock? What's going on, my dude? Based black man. Sup, dude? What's going on, Crimson Shadow? Based black man. Incel revolution when? Now, friend. What's going on now? Your local oh yeah, Curry sale. Oh yeah. Hey, I remember you from TRP stream. Yeah, he's definitely coming on my stream tonight. I think he is. He said around 7 o'clock, so we still have like 5 minutes left. But I went ahead and just threw in the chat link into the chat just to see if people join or not. Otherwise, TRP is gonna come on here and talk. And we have another base black man. Was that a double? That's so weird. Yeah, I don't know what the topic's going to be. I'm not sure if it's just going to be a free form discussion or we're just going to talk and hang out. Wasn't quite sure, but we're going to have a discussion about something. Can't wait. Yeah, should be here in about 5 minutes. I did tell him to take his time, so we might end up doing this the regular ordinary where I just read off the comments and hang out with you guys. But until he joins up, otherwise we'll keep doing our shit. Lay down and rot and do not pay into the system. That's hard to do nowadays, man. It's so hard not to pay into the system because like you have to eat, you have to drink water, you have to like do the basics. Basically, you should pay if you're not getting anything out of the system. You should pay it into the system. Excuse me. You should pay into the system the least amount that you can, so that way you end up with a you end up paying in the least amount that you can to the system for sure. Get free shit, be a hermit, don't work hard. Yeah, dude, become that neat, that full on go full neat, live off of autism bucks and get some free money. What's up, dog? What's going on, Maurice? You always up in here, dude. This is probably the quickest I've seen people join this chat. Oh my god. Normally I got like people don't just like trickle in here, so it's kind of weird. Let me see if this dude respond to my email yet. Hold on. That was chat. I sent him the link, so hopefully he joins. Yeah, if you're in Incel, you're at a high disadvantage, so only pay what you need to. Yeah. That's basically what I'm trying to say. Like, don't pay into the system that hates you, dog. Don't pay too much. Like, especially if you got nothing going for you, you're better off saying fuck it and just like just paying the least amount that you can. Like, obviously you have to eat. Obviously you need some form of shelter. You need clothes. But like you don't have to buy the most expensive thing to face the planet. Just buy cheap ass shit from Walmart. Eat out of a dumpster can if you have to. Figure it out. Money max for yourself only. Yeah, you should be doing everything for yourself. Like, really, I was gonna make a video about copes and which copes are good copes and which copes are bad copes. Obviously stuff like money maxing is really a good cope if you're good at it. Trying to like gym maxing can be a good cope as long as you're not doing it expecting to get a girlfriend. You could probably gym max pretty well, and that's a good cope. Bad copes is stuff like alcohol. I would say smoking weed can be a bad cope if you get like you can't really get physically addicted to weed, but you can get like mentally addicted to anything. So you gotta watch out for weed. But everything else, yeah, like money max, gym max, gym cell max, whatever you want to call it. Never had kids, so no extra expenses. I actually want kids. Just the hardest part is getting the woman to have the kids. But yeah, Sunday in your prime. Hell yeah, dude. Sunday night in your fucking prime. The prime of our lives, and we're here on a random chat. Sunday night Incel. Shout out to the Cope gang for being in here, being involved, and being active. Oh man. Oh, Coach Greg Adams, I love your little thing, but a single man needs nothing to exist. The only reason to work is to take care of kids. If you have no kids, then only work part-time and save money, minimize spending, and take care of your health. Yeah, really. Like, there's a lot of people doing the whole FIRE thing where you retire early, financial independence, retire early, and like if you're a single dude and you're making a lot of money, you make a decent amount of money, you can probably end up just like retiring extremely early because like you're going to save so much money up in your 20s and 30s and your 40s. You can probably retire at age like 50, but maybe even earlier actually if you're like good enough at saving your money up. But yeah, like you figure it out, dude. You'll have plenty of cash. Women are a huge money sink. Oh my god. Pursue cope so you don't rope. Yep. Gotta pursue the cope, dude. If once you stop coping, that's when you start reaching for the rope. It's true. Cope. Shout out to the Cope gang for being in here, being involved, and being active. Money maxing is the best cope for me. Yeah, I've been trying to actually my stocks have been doing pretty well, and so my chain link actually. Bought some chain link a few like last year. and it's doing pretty damn good right now. Oh my god, whew. Yeah, it's gone up quite a bit over the last few days. So pretty excited to watch that stock go up or watch that chain link go up. Hopefully, if it reaches like $50, I'll probably sell and then take some profits and then do it over again. But yeah. The society is set up to the point where even if you want kids, the court system can take your kids from you. There is no winning as a low status male society. Yeah. I mean, some of you people are new, so like my whole story is that really I'm like the epitome of like fat cell is vol cell. I was a fat cell for years, and like I waited too long to like lose the weight, so now I'm like kind of stuck here in this weird like in between area where like that's why I made the video about cyborgs and failed normies, because like I basically am like a cyborg or a failed normie, because like I live in this weird like pseudo black pill, pseudo blue pill world where it's like, oh, women are actually attracted to me now that I lost the weight, but it's like I'm so like black pilled where like I don't even like believe that it's true, or like I know all the tricks now, so it's like, okay, well this is like not gonna work because like X, Y, and Z. So like yeah, I'm not like your traditional incels. Yeah, yeah, that's true. Fat cells are, yeah, fat cell is almost always vol cell. The only way fat cell is not vol cell is if like you have an attractive face underneath all the fat, or if you have like really ugly face underneath all the fat. Other than that, dude, it's almost always vol cell. Us short cells or true cells. Oh, always, dude. Yeah, if you're like 5'4", 5'3", you're fucked. You are so fucked. Oh no! Don't say that, Mark Lay. I gotta reconfirm this. At least you have access to more things with money. Yeah, you have access to better copes too. You can car cope, you can escort cope if you want to. There's a whole bunch of stuff you can do, you can cope with. So, yeah. If you are a black male with a high IQ, you're automatically a true cell. Dang, it's kind of true to some extent, though. It really is. Like in the black community, like intelligence doesn't appear to be valued at all. It's like all about the charisma and the mouthpiece, and like everything else is kind of like secondary to that weird charisma machismo thing we have going on in the black community. It really is weird. I think I made a video about educated lames and black cells, and in the educated lame video, I talk about this stuff called Negro juice, and a Negro juice is like it's what I was talking about. This like weird hood demeanor you kind of have to like make in the black community, and it's really weird. I feel more like a cyborg than a true cell. Yeah, it depends. Like if you're like if you look decent enough and but like you're like black pilled, like I said, you're in this weird like pseudo reality. Especially if you look halfway decent and you're black pilled. It's like, wait a second, am I like, oh, women are actually attracted to me? I'm just like, it's like you're like a mental cell. Like you're like a mental cell to some extent when you're like black pilled, but like you're actually halfway attractive. Like you can't even you're so black pilled, or like you don't even want to believe that women are like, uh, like it doesn't really matter. Like you look at women as almost like, well, whatever. Never began for male liqueurs like myself. Shit. It's over for microcells. Oh shit. Anyway, I've been thinking about writing a black pilled manifesto called Human Utopia. Don't know if I want to just make videos on it though. I've been thinking about making my own vids recently. It's a good idea. It really is a pretty good cope. It's a good idea. Like I effectively make my channel into like my own personal journal. Like, I'll make black pilled content as long as I can, but like it kind of comes down to like I really do feel like putting your thoughts down either on paper or putting your thoughts on in a video form is like the same idea. Like putting your thoughts out into the universe or to the world is like a way more it's a good cope. Like it makes you feel like, oh yeah, I've done something today. I put a new video up. It's a pretty fun too. Like I don't put a lot of effort really into like editing my videos, but like overall making the videos and making my PowerPoints and putting stuff out there really does help out a lot. For my mental health especially. So. Let's see. Martyr Shows did a really high IQ video about compensation needed looks, IQ, and testosterone. Hmm. You always have all these really good videos you need me to watch. Let's see. Let me look up this dude's. AMARTYRF.
Yeah.
3 days ago. Okay, I'll watch some of this. He looks like he's some pretty good content, actually. If you have bad looks, he thinks you can still compensate elsewhere. I think so too, actually. Like, I mean, that's why it's called LMS, like looks, money, status. Like, if you have bad looks, you can always money max or status max. And like, basically, a thug maxing is like a form of status maxing, where like you're going full thuggo, you're showing off your testosterone, how belligerent and stupid you can be. But at the end of the day, it's just like you're just acting like an idiot. Human utopia experiment. Oh yeah, Mouse Utopia experiment, run by the elites. That's what it feels like. So like we're living in like a fucking Mouse Utopia right now. You got the gay rats going on right now. You got the tranny rats. You got a beautiful ones being born in Gen Z. It's weird. Yes, if money maxed. Yes, if I money maxed and lost the weight, I might be able to be a low level normal person, but I'm about 5'8", with I want to say I'm barely average face, but it's all upsell. Yeah. Dante Aeros Aerophasia. Do so soon. Huh. Dante Aerophasia. Typed that in wrong. Oh my god, I'm a fucking idiot. I'll come back to that one. Oh, there's Don. Heard that? What's going on, boy? Men in droves are leaving the West and seeking out females abroad. Western women will be shocked by our absence. Cope Craig Adams. Oh my god. Jesus Christ. Do you guys still look at women in public anymore? Yeah, I still do. I have like this tendency, like I'm always looking for that fat ass, but it's like, yeah, I'm like, man, oh boy. C maxing is cope. Everything's cope, dude. Especially when you're ugly, sin. Everything's cope. Just be famous, bro. Yeah, should just money max and be a billionaire, bro. Murder Trust a few weeks ago. It's the rectangle with the pink and blue lines. I see it. Theory. Black pill diagnosis guide. Okay, I see it. He has pretty good videos. I like his titles already, so looks good. Not at all. I walk through women in public and I never speak to women in public, and I ignore them and then they ignore me. The weird thing is that like people say I have a tendency to like look through them. So like when I'm looking at people, I'm always like kind of like looking through them and kind of figure out who they are. And people get kind of freaked out by it. Like, is he looking at me or looking through me? And it's like I'm looking through you for sure. Like in terms of coping, the next 2 years will be the bottoming out of the contrative, the contrative. Around 2025, things will start to get better, although only in retrospect. Patriarchal, yeah, I gave up. I only look at them in porn. Porn code bros. Porn Max. Cope Greg Adams in 2018. Buy my book, Free Agent Lifestyle, and Become the Alpha Male Tomorrow. Cope Greg Adams in 2021. Socially distancing and wearing his mask while in line for bread like every other beta. Yeah, dude. Everything's different now. 2018. 2018 feels like so long ago. I'm trying to find research on the male to female ratios in the Mouse Utopia when it collapsed experiment, but I can't find any. It seems like it was tacked. It wasn't tracked. Yeah, that's actually really interesting actually. But what ended up happening, I believe, in the Mouse Utopia experiment was like it ended up being a matter of like the females clustered around the desirable males. So like I don't think does the ratio matter. I guess it does matter to some extent. I guess if there's more male rats than there are female rats, then that would give us some insight into like how human beings are going to end up. 30% of Gen Z women are homosexual. Phew, probably more than that now. It was a few years ago, like 2018, where like 30% of men were incel, and now it's like 50%. So, oh yeah, I remember you from the TRP scream. I think you just joined. Just be confident, bro. Yeah, dude, just be confident, bro. All you have to do is just be confident. As if confidence doesn't come from something, and you're supposed to expect you just to like pretend to be confident. Weren't there more male than female mice? The only way to win in Southeast Asia is to never bring them back to the West, because that's when women will try to indoctrinate her into feminism. Oh yeah, yeah. I have a friend. I have two people actually now who have done Southeast Asia maxing. I don't really know them too well, but I know that they got their girlfriends from Southeast Asia for sure. At least the girls are Asian or from Taiwan or some shit or from the Philippines. And like the sad part is that they brought them both back to the West, and it's like, oh my god, you guys are gonna have such a hard time keeping those girls, because like both of them, they lost weight and then they got the girls and then they gained a lot of the weight back. Like they gained almost all the weight back, and now they're both fat and like it's like, okay, you guys really fucked up. Like at least stay in shape to try to keep the girl. You didn't do that. Like you just totally let yourself go. Yeah, I remember reading that article. I think I actually made a video. It was like a blurb in one of my videos actually. So let me check my email again and see where this guy is. Primary chat. 7 p.m. sounds good to me. All the best. TRP. Okay, he's take his time. He'll be here soon, I guess. Let's see. I only look at their ass. I never let them see me looking though, so they won't get confident boost. Yeah, yeah. I don't want that either. I'm always looking back at that ass though. Like, oh, I'm a sucker. I guess because I'm black, but I'm a sucker for that ass. So it's like, oh shit. Your local curry cell. That's what I would think, but I wanted to see the numbers for the hard sources, but I can't find it in the papers I'm reading. It was over the minute I was born. Dude, it never fucking began, dude. It was born the moment the sperm hit the fucking egg, dog. It's over. At least 50% of Gen Z women are off the market and never began for us. Dude, I feel so bad for Gen Z, dude. You guys got fucked. Like, I thought being a millennial was bad. Gen Z got like nothing. Feminism is global. All women in the 21st century are feminists by default. Yeah. I'm actually trying to quit porn. Yeah, I've been watching like a few days actually, which is kind of good. So that's like a pretty good record for me actually. Been like 3 or 4 days now. So shit's boring now and keeps your mind too much on your desires. I like to think that when we get to close to 70-80% of men being incel, the prostitution will become legal everywhere in the West, but that's wishful thinking. Like I have no problem paying for it, dude. If it hits 80%, we're gonna have literal open rebellions on our hand, and you're gonna be like, the last thing that's gonna be on our mind is prostitution becoming legal. Like if we hit like 60% or like 70% incel rates, like yeah, you're gonna have to like really like clamp down hard to like keep the fucking system going, dude. No fucking way. Try to be very micro instant on the Big Bang happened. Oh, it's the micro instant the Big Bang happened. Oh no. Take the determinism pill. My life was planned before I was even born. That's true. It's over for insemination cells. Oh no. Never began, boy. Let's see. OnlyFans is killing the escort prostitution market. Oh god, yeah. It's once they realize, or once a lot of the only escorts you can find now are like really like low tier ones now, like the ones who like don't have like the boomer ones who can't fucking use the fucking computer. The rest of them, dog, oh my god, it's over. You can't find shit. If you're looking for like a decent one anymore, nah, dude. Like you ain't finding no 25-year-old anymore. She's on OnlyFans now. The determinism pill destroyed me. It didn't destroy me, surprisingly. I was like, oh, this makes sense. I'm like, okay, like so it really made me into like more of a it made me more compassionate for sure. But it also it made me more compassionate, and beyond that, it also gave me insight into like why people do the things they do, which is why it's so interesting for me to talk about it. If God exists and it was over the moment he made my soul. Well, if God exists, it was over the moment he even thought of you. He's like, oh yeah, this person here is fucked. Over. The determinism pill truly destroyed me. Even if I tried to change my fate, it was I was destined to be an incel. Yeah, I don't like to use the word destined, but like basically all the factors that led you here, like you can call it destiny or fate, but that's what it feels like. I mean, that's what it seems like, for sure. Like it. Oh man, if only things had been a little bit different in your life, you wouldn't have like at least been a little bit happier, I guess. My ex Tinder date sent me a text out of the blue saying that I reminded her of Jason Statham after I shaved my head. I ghosted like an alpha, battered bachelor. Speaking of better bachelor, um, does anybody notice like he has the video? He either has a picture of like these two girls. He has in a picture of him, well, him and two girls, and like the girls look like trailer trash. Like I'm not quite sure if he thinks those two girls look like attractive or not, but like those girls look like trailer trash to me. I don't know. That's like not my thing, I guess. Maybe I'm just like maybe I'm being overly like conscious or overly critical of these girls, but they look really bad. Wish I could find the picture. I wonder if he has it up still. Better bachelor. Better. Like I'm gonna see if I can find this picture because like it looks really bad. Better bachelor. Boop 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 boop. Videos. See if I can find it. Images. Now I can't find the picture, but like it looks like a picture of like these two girls, and it's like, are you serious? Like this is your example of like of women like you go after? I don't know, man. Like not my cup of tea. Maybe my standards is too high though. Who knows? Is it over for black cells? See, look, being a black cell is different from being like a white cell. Black cells like have a particular problem of like the educated lane problem, where it's like you have men who don't look that good, but like they thug max. If you can't thug max in the black community, you're like not even black. They don't even consider you to be black in the black community, and the women don't want you. The women are looking for that edge. If you're like a regular sized dude, they're looking for the BBC. Like they're looking for a whole bunch of shit in the black community that like you can't provide them with, and like it's not completely over. Like if you can like find like a Becky or something like that to date you, you can ascend to some level. But like yeah, overall, dude, like it really is sad. Like it really is like sad how bad the community doesn't seem to value, um, the African Americans or smart black people in their community. It's weird. Just think, with eternal recurrence, it'll be like over and over and over again. Take the Nietzsche pill. Oh shit. Women are making money for doing nothing it's as if the world has descended into madness. Men are not even getting sex and are giving women money and getting nothing in return. No, they get something in return. They get the validation they get the validation, and they also get the men get the validation, and they also get the quote unquote companionship. That's what they're really there for, the intimacy and companionship. They're not there for the they're there for the sex too, obviously, but they're not getting sex. Really, they're just getting like they're getting, oh, I love you, simp number 99. You're such a cool guy for giving me $1,000, but like they don't really care about that shit. So the women don't really care. They're like they'll freely give you fake validation for money. Only fans of the government psyop. At this point, I fucking believe it. Battered Bachelor. I fucking love your little names, dude. Fucking Christ. Battered Bachelor. Sounds like Popeye the Sailor Man. Nietzsche pill is the final pill to take. Black cells are true cells. Curry cells are true cells. Rice cells are true cells. Olive oil. I wonder if your amount of freedom has already determined, can it be changed? I mean, by definition, no. Like, if everything's predetermined, by the factor of cause and effect, then no. Like, everything you're gonna do, even thinking the thought was like predetermined. Like, I was gonna do it before I even thought it. I just happened to like think it. Like it feels like freedom. Like we have the illusion of freedom. We don't really have the traditional like view of like, oh, you're free to choose and you can choose to do whatever you want, and you're free to pick and you're free to choose because you have preferences. You have societal expectations about what you should be doing. You have various things like you have various things like the societal thing. You have heuristics, all these like this background stuff going on into the back of your mind alone that you have no control over, but it can decide what you can and can't choose to do. Like it's crazy when you think about it. You know it, bro. Let's see. Ethnic cells can never ascend. Nah, if you can ascend, you have to have the BBC meme. You have to be decently attractive and tall, and you have to like have the Caucasoid features to ascend. If you look like a traditional black man, you're kind of fucked. You like the big nose and the big lips, and you know, yeah. The song "Ebony and Ivory" by Stevie Wonder is an ode to Cope, Greg Adams, and Battered Bash. Ebony and ivory work together in perfect. I can't sing. All right. The idea that men are careless and women were perfect angels or feminist propaganda. Men have always cared more than women, while women have always been sociopathic golems. Oh shit, using the golem meme. Um, yeah, I think even men, even like I think this has been proven that men even care more about the kids than the women do. Like they care more about children. I think to some extent, it's not to say women don't love kids, but like they're just better at taking care of them. But it's like it kind of comes down to like I think the love that a man has for his children is much stronger, I think, than the love that a woman has for her kids to some extent. Men are the romantics, absolutely. Oh God, yeah. We romanticize everything. We try to like make things work. We are like the ultimate we're the ultimate fixers. We try to make things better, and that's the problem. I think men need to stop being so romantic and be more pragmatic and just say fuck it. Like why should I sacrifice my time for that shit? Do you recommend light skin max for normie black cells? I don't. I've never liked the whole idea of like doing the whole skin lightening treatments, dude. I think it's weird. You know, uh, I changing your appearance is kind of like getting like too much plastic surgery after a while. It's like okay, like you shouldn't light skin max too much. Like, and unless you're talking about being naturally light skin, in which case, yeah, you have somewhat of an advantage in the black community. Yeah, that light skin is somewhat valued, but there is a the concept of colorism in the black community where like you have this people who like or the women think that like oh if you have light skin you think you're privileged or you think you're better than us, so like there is that to do to contend with as well in the black community. So I'm already light skinned. Oh boy. Just compare Victor Hugo novels to Jane Austen novels. Just compare them, boys. What's up, mystery? Finally caught your live stream. What's going on, boy? I'm waiting for someone to show up. Supposed to join the chat. I'm not sure if he's ready to do it or not, but I said 7 Eastern time. He said okay. So we'll see if he joined or not. Otherwise, we'll just keep doing what we're doing. I think I posted the link to the chat in the chat. If anyone wants to. Speaking of which, I'll post that link to the Let me post that link to the chat I was in yesterday because I joined someone else's chat. This is the guy who's supposed to come onto my chat today. Let me see if I can find a thing. TRP analysis, and then click on that video. I will post this in the chat. If you want to watch it later on, go ahead and watch it. It's over for cold feet cells. Yeah, I don't know. Just editing some videos. YouTube is a pain with copyright music claim. Oh god, yeah. Yeah, this is the video I was on with yesterday. I think I joined halfway through it, but or quarter of the way through it, but yeah, I was on that chat yesterday, so watch at your own leisure. Oh, I was on my phone though, so the audio is not nearly as good. But other than that, I was there. I was there. We actually talked for a long time. Actually, we had a pretty good conversation. Okay, Michael Jackson was the greatest ethnic and incel, and even he white maxed. White maxing is essential. He did white max. I give you that. He definitely did. Although if his was a genetic anomaly, if anything, but. Got a fever of 103. Yeah, he did. He did. That's why I was joking around. Like he white maxed to the max, dude. Literally, the skin condition saved him. He became the white man after a few years. Just fair and handsome max, bro. Yep, just make sure you get skin lightening or make sure you get vitiligo or whatever they call it, and get a smaller nose, change your lips, change your ears, keep your hair. Better be singing "You Be Illin." MJ did multiple. He definitely did multiple surgeries. As far as I know, he did have a skin condition, but maybe he didn't. I don't know. That's a conspiracy, right? Oh, come on, Chain, wake up. And he changed his hair. I don't blame him. Hey, he ascended some way. He had kids. Or no, he didn't have kids. He adopted kids, didn't he? Or did he? Or he's a surrogate? I forgot what MJ did. I don't think he had kids. I think he's a surrogate, didn't he? His kids definitely aren't his. No way. Oh yeah, there was a new Incel TV video I didn't watch yet. Incel TV. It was 3 days ago. How could I have missed that video? Oh no. Yeah, I just saw your comment. I'm like, shit. Have you watched Incel TV's latest video on Just Be White invading the MENA countries? The Arab episodes are facing Just Be White like Southeast Asia maxing. Maybe the next is MENA maxing. I'd believe it. Some of my best friends are from their parents are from Pakistan, so they're like first or second generation immigrants or second generation immigrants from Pakistan, and like the girls are all marrying like white men. It's crazy. Like the sad thing about these guys here is that like one of them's like 35 years old. He's still a virgin, but he has the ability to like use whatever you want to call it. He has the ability to get arranged marriages done, and the arranged marriages are like it's a godsend. Like people would die to have the women he's like getting hooked up with, but he can't seal the deal. So he ends up like he's been alone for a long time now. Obviously, 35 years. Either way, so what ended up happening was like you know yeah like all like the girls in his family are like some of them are marrying white men, some of them aren't getting married at all. Like it's really weird what's happening to like these first second generation immigrants for sure. So like I totally believe it that some people are traveling over to like Southeast to not Southeast Asia, but the Middle Eastern countries and like poaching the women there too, dude. Like white women and white men just appear to be like universally like loved. It's insane. Do you guys view race mixing favorably? In general, I mean, in general, yeah, in general. But I have to acknowledge the fact that, like, man, like, when you're competing with like white people, dude, or white men, dude, you really are at like a stark disadvantage, dude. And that's what kind of sucks about it. Like, you really are at a stark disadvantage to some extent, especially if like they're like decently attractive, but like overall. What happened to Saint Hamoudi? Huh? Oh, yo, what's going on, Enrique? I uploaded some of Hamoudi's lost videos on my channel. Dang, so he just got, what, did he get like kicked off YouTube? Or did he just quit? We got 15 people in here. Holy shit. Speaking of arranged marriage, I talked to my mom about it, and she said it was a good idea. But a few days later, I thought, I thought against it because it would just be more time and money wasted. So, yeah, like, I don't know, man. Like, arranged marriages, if you do it early enough, it can be very, very. It can definitely keep up. There he is. There he is. The guy's coming online. There he is. I posted the thing in the chat. I sent you an email too, so let's go ahead and join up whenever you're ready. Let me get to the comments real quick. But yeah, arranged marriages, it can be a huge. It can save people from insult if you do it early enough. But like if you do it too late, yeah, you're kind of screwed. Race mixing is good in my opinion, but the culture differences is the deal breaker sometimes. Oh snap! There he is. He joined. Let me add the stream.
What's up, brother? How you doing?
Let me mute my YouTube video. Hold me a sec. I think I can hear you coming to my my speaker, right? Can you say something real quick?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. But you're coming through my speaker. Let me change my speakers to my actual headset. Speak now.
Is it fine now?
Yeah, we're good now. We're good to go. Okay, good. What's going
What's
on,
up,
bro?
man? How you doing? I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm still laughing about the fucking comment from last night.
Oh no. Yeah, right.
Fucking combo, fucking Tekken combo bullshit.
Dude, I watched a bunch of your videos, man, or a couple, man, and they're fucking hilarious. Especially the types of MGTOW one with the divorce rate MGTOW.
Yeah, like it's true. Like, come on. Like the MGTOW shit is like so cool to some extent. Like, is it really? Are you really going your own way if like no one wanted you anyway? Like, it's what it comes down to. Like,
I know, man. Living in a cardboard box.
yeah.
Broke his heart. Like, what?
I mean, it doesn't matter.
And then I watched the other one about the types of insults, the blue pilled Omega new male bullshit. I couldn't agree more, man. The bottom feeder crap. Those people are pretty destructive, man. They're toxic to be around.
Yeah, like when you look at like the whole that video there in particular, that's definitely one of my more popular videos. But like when you look at the types of incels, like the majority of people are always going to be the bottom feeding like shit tier level people, you know what I mean? Like, and like very, very few incels that actually have like enough pride to say, you know what, I'm an incel, I'm black pilled, let's just get it over with. Or it's like most incels really are blue pilled. This is like where all your simps and beta cucks and male feminists and all that shit comes from. Like this is where it all stems from that.
Yeah, no, I never really understood because a couple of the guys I grew up with, especially my best friend, obviously they're insult here. We're talking about like 5'5", receding chin, whatever. Like he ended up marrying his high school sweetheart, but at the same time, like he fits the typical like sex like once a month. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
all that like how do you not have a spine? How do you not have self-respect? That's what you have to deal with. I tell people all the time, if you're like an insult to your guy, it's possible that you're gonna get married with some used up roasty, but you're gonna have to forego your dignity. She's gonna treat you like crap 24/7.
Yeah, it's true. Like she is not going to treat you the same way she treated her previous boyfriends, especially the ones who were like Chad tier, Tyrone tier, what I call them. Like she didn't treat you nowhere near as good as she treated her previous boyfriends, mostly because she's so damaged from previous relationships anyway. So it kind of comes down to like, you know, she's damaged goods in a way. You know, it sucks to say it like that, but it's true.
Dude, it's freaking brutal, man. Like she has no like. I find that there's no social barrier. Like we'll be out in public. It's just not a dignifying existence, you know. Should be calling him an idiot, like he's not good for anything, this and that. Like in the middle of a Starbucks or a restaurant, or maybe like a grocery store, even at their house. Like no peace of mind. That is what she'll see you as. And he's a really good guy too. That's the worst part. It doesn't matter who you are in terms of character, how much money you make. If you're sub Chad, you're fucking insignificant. Like you are going to be always treated like a piece of shit, and you're not going to have any dignity no matter what you do.
Yeah, it's true. Like I said, it really is amazing to me how much of like your life comes down to just general looks. Like looks can affect your income. I think the video I did on Lookism covers some of this. Like it covers it can, you know, affect your income. It can obviously affect the way you're treated, but in general, like for example, like I think I said earlier in this chat that like I was technically speaking, I was like fat cell with vol cell. I was like a fat cell, so like I lost the weight, and then you know like now women are actually somewhat attracted to me. So it kind of made me realize, okay, well I wasn't really ugly. I was just fat, but like kind of comes down to like the treatment that I got from people when I wasn't even like at my current weight. I was much heavier even a year ago before I lost more weight, and I was like, wait a second, I'm getting better treatment. And the only thing that's changed about me is the fact that I've just like lost weight and I just look better. And it's like this is insanity how much we put a massive emphasis on looks in this country. It is insane.
No, what do you think it is? Like, what caused like this basically seismic shift? Like, do people not have any? You know, I tell guys all the time that women dictate men's morality. Like, I've seen it happen all the time where I'll be in a workplace and you know during the shift it'll be all men. You'll be kicking it, insult to your guys. It doesn't matter. We're all cool. But as soon as like women enter that environment, they start to orchestrate. They start to divide us into different social groups. And I see the incel guys bar none get bullied by the other guys now. People that they were once cool with. Women shape men's morality and social circles. Like I've seen this phenomenon so many times, and it's brutal.
It's not that they shape the morality. It's so weird because it's like I think this has even been studied where like men get dumber when women are around. Like we literally dumb ourselves down. We get more savage. We get more competitive because the moment you introduce a woman into the equation, we feel like we have to compete for her affection. And I think a lot of it has to come down to a biological processes. You know, like general evolutionary a pressure to get a mate, impregnate her, and have children. And it really is sad that like men don't realize how bad they're being to their fellow man when a woman's around. And it's like, you know, like men will do a complete 180 the moment a woman's involved. And it's like, okay, did you really have to be like an asshole to that guy in that one moment of like weakness? Like, you know, like whatever happened to like bros before hoes, you know, like.
Yeah, that sentiment, man, that does. I've seen it happen so many times. I like it, like you know, I grew up in a pretty like shitty neighborhood, right? Shitty circumstances, and in those circumstances, you see the very worst of human behavior. There's no such thing as friends. You know, I've seen the worst of what you can imagine, like guys who are best friends getting each other's like fiancés pregnant, like all the stupidity that I've seen.
Dang.
Yeah, dude, there's no loyalty. Like, there's none of that. Men will literally, like, I don't put it past most men, but I'd say like 99.9% of men will drop you an instant for a piece of ass. Like, there is no loyalty, I find, in
It's
this
actually
society.
true because like there's like it really is like when you have like when men get girlfriends, like she immediately becomes like the immediate thing he goes to. Like, you know, like when it's time to hang out, he's hanging out with her. You know, when it's time to like, okay, bro, you want to go to a party? Nah, dude, I have a girlfriend. I can't go to a party anymore. It's like everything becomes about her. Like, and I think that's part of the problem is that like you're still simping. Like you have to simp even once you get the girl, you become like a super simp because you have to you know in order to maintain her to keep her affection, to keep the sex going, to keep everything going. You have to maintain your simpes to maintain your simping to keep her around. And it really is like taxing on you, it's taxing on your friendships. You know, friendships get destroyed by women entering your life to some extent.
Yeah, this has happened to multiple friends groups that I no longer hang out with over the years, and uh, a guy that I work with told me something that stuck with me until now, like for most of my life. He told me, you know how you know a guy's in a terrible relationship? He's permanently tired. I never really understood this at first. I'm like, it doesn't make sense, but now you see it. They have no peace of mind. All of my guy friends that are sub Chad, they get berated, nagged by their women whenever they're around me. We used to do fun things, but now they just want to chill because all they do is quote unquote fun things with their wives. So when they're around you, they just want to break from it all. Like they go home, no peace. I can't imagine an existence like that where you cannot take like an hour to yourself just to like clear your mind and regain some emotional strength or anything like that. So now it made sense to me. Like that's how you know a guy's in a terrible relationship. He's always tired.
Yeah, I've never seen that type of stuff happen, but I do have a friend who I used to be like pretty close with me. He used to be coworkers for a long time. We used to hang out together all the time. And he just became totally like distant. He got married, he recently got married, had a kid. In fact, he already had a kid with another girl. He has another kid now. And it's like it really is kind of strange the way like our like we used to be like really close friends, and all of a sudden he just became like a complete like it was all about her. It became all about her, and then maybe he is tired. I mean, he seems to be working a lot more now. He's constantly at work. He's constantly on his grind because he has to pay for a kid now. He has to pay for her. In fact, he married a single mother. She already had two kids of her own, actually. So he did the ultimate cuck. So like
No,
yeah,
that's
she already
terrible.
had two kids. He had a kid with her, and it's like, man, this is the clusterfuck of like relationship thing right here. But yeah, like he married her. I'm like, I don't know why the fuck he married her. Maybe it's one thing to have a kid with her, to marry her is a whole different story. But like, he married the girl, and it's like he became like a completely different person. Like it's like his whole life became like. I mean, it's been said before, but like women tend to like it makes men feel more confident because they feel like they finally attained what they've always wanted. But like, man, like it's a false confidence, though for sure.
No, 100%. I've officially like I tried to analyze, is there any way a sub five male or insult to your male could live in a day-to-day life without automatically being ostracized, without being labeled a creep just for the privilege of staring at a woman in a subway station, whatever it is. And I realized there's no way. Like you have to. What I would advise for everyone, the West is not. It has to be foregone at this point. Like what I myself am doing, and I advise for everyone to do is look into like different economies, like get work visas, like use the West specifically as a hub to make profit. But when you enter a country like Mexico, where most men are nowhere near, like there's nowhere near as much competition as there is in the West. People are more centered. Like the society's basically more has more of a human
Conservative.
element to it. Yeah, and then you can get the satisfaction that you've been longing for here with the money that you can make back home. So I would advise you to anyone that is in the West, let go of the West. The culture here is trash. People here suck their assholes. Nobody has any ounce of humanity. But if you go overseas, you can gain what it is that you lacked here. And I would,
It's so funny that you say that because we just had a dude comment saying how messed up it is. 'Cause, like we have this debate all the time about whether or not you should like go to like Southeast Asia. Like white men tend to do very very well in Southeast Asia. Really, white men do well globally. Truth be told, like we call it Southeast Asia maxing. Where like you go to the Philippines to find a waifu and pick her up, or go to Japan and you're like a god in Japan basically. And like the sad part is that you can never bring those girls back to the West. And also another problem is that you end up creating incels in other countries as well. So like what ends up happening is that when you go over there and you poach those women, you make the game so much harder for the men who live in those countries. Like if you go to fucking go to fucking the Philippines and you're like a 6 foot tall, if you're fucking 5'8", you're probably taller than most people there, and you're like a 5'8", 6 foot tall fucking dude. Like you're mocking the hell out of every single dude who's over there, and it's like you really are destroying. Like not only are you like yeah, sure, you couldn't get shit at home, which is fine. But then when you go to Southeast Asia and you ruin their dating market, like the problem never really gets solved. You know what I mean? Like you're just making more and more incels, like overseas now, though. So it solves your problem on a micro level. On a macro level, though, the problem is still being exacerbated.
Well, the only real solution that I could potentially think of to this problem is technology. Like, for instance, if you had, I think it was a controversial topic where they had analysis software that they implemented in surveillance technology that actually knew right away, like they could assess based off AI who was a criminal, who was this, and who was that.
Mhm.
But it got it was deemed controversial because it aligned too much with it wasn't with leftist politics. But if you had some kind of a technology like that that would be able to use facial recognition to basically assess somebody's personality type and how likely they are to do what, I think we might be closer to the right direction. But overall, technology is the only way, the only true solution. Whether or not you want to invest in that, it's very difficult to say.
Yeah, to technology, we talk about, I have these chats every Sunday or Saturday typically. Normally Sundays, 'cause I'm normally away from the house on Saturday doing other stuff. So like Sundays, like we always end up when the topic of like sex dolls or like some weird like a mechanized sex dolls or sex robots basically that can like facilitate that type of even if it's fake, it's still some sort of like stimulus for men to like release that urge to have sex. But the problem is though, we think that'll somewhat solve the problem, but like if I don't know, like we're in some weird like dark age shit right now where it's like, we're becoming more degenerate, we're becoming more and more the world has become way less community based for sure. Oh, I have another dude joining by the way if you want, I think he wants to talk to us, but it becomes, it's the ultimate cult because like sex dolls, like if you couldn't get a real woman, so you have to settle for a sex doll. I guess for some incel that's good enough. For a lot of incel, they still want to have that real human connection, which for some of them it doesn't matter, but for a lot of them it does matter. Let me let this guy join real quick. Hold on, at the stream. What's going on, Drolix?
Hey, nice to
Hey,
meet
what's
you.
up, guys? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you sound
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yep. Just chilling on a Sunday.
In your
Listen to
prime,
you
dog.
guys.
In your fucking prime, like the prime of
I
your
know.
in your prime, dog. On a Sunday night in your prime on an incel stream. What the fuck's going on for our lives?
Yeah, man, it's over.
It's over. Yeah, but did you have a response to TRP? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, for sure. It's always nice meeting new people in our community, but yeah, no, like it's so hard to understand the intricacies of this. Like, I myself, we have this like intrinsic ingrained thought that human beings are better and sort of somehow better than animalistic tendencies, that we have a basis of formulating morality. Like, when I see the way females behave, it's incredibly amoral. It goes completely against all the teachings, and I try to understand why, if ungoverned, this behavior manifests the way it does. Like, is it inherent? Has it to do with? I try to understand the disparity between, I guess, traditional male behavior and traditional female behavior. I'm not saying all, but I'm saying majority of the time it tends to manifest in this completely amoral, almost sociopathic way in which they have no issues and screwing over men or ostracizing men and giving them very false advice. I've talked to women, and I know that they intentionally give men in the friend zone false advice, like you'll eventually find someone, this and that, only to laugh and like laugh and berate him afterwards in the little friend circles. It's quite a brutal thing to notice, but do you have any like idea as to why it manifests? Like, is there any like inherent characteristics behind it?
It's from what I have learned or have read or have heard, from other people, it's like it's a defense mechanism for women to do that because if they told men the truth, like if you walk up to some like, most men could easily end a woman's life pretty easily because they're just bigger, stronger, and faster just overall. So like overall, for a woman to tell a man the truth and say, "Oh, you know, you're ugly, and that's why I won't have sex with you, or that's why I won't become your girlfriend." That's a very, very dangerous situation for her to be in. So it's almost like they've been hard coded to tell you a comfortable blue pilled, somewhat obvious lie in order to make you not hurt them effectively. And you know, and the fact that like women don't like the whole amoral aspect of things. Like I remember reading stories about, I think in France, when France got ransacked by the Germans. The Germans basically, like, when the women basically just gave up France, like they didn't even try to like defend the country at all. Once the men got captured, the women just gave it up. Obviously, they gave up the peace leave, and they just let the men have at it, and the women didn't even try, because like for centuries, if you think about it from an evolutionary standpoint, most civilizations have raped and pillaged. Men have been raping and pillaging for so long that it's almost been hard coded into the female psyche that, oh, I can't have an allegiance to a country or to a place or even to a man, because he might not be here next week because of the raping, all the raping and pillaging going on. If that makes any sense.
No. Yeah. No, I definitely agree with that. That makes complete sense. But yeah, and I've noticed that women, for the most part, have this almost intrinsic. Have you read any of the xenomorph or the Alien versus Predator comic book lore? Like, how they're all interconnected, or like if you play StarCraft, like the Zerg, they're all interconnected to this hive mind. If you notice women in public, it's as if they look to one another and synchronize thoughts with one another and observe the body language, as to not allow for any woman to give up any information that would what do you call it, like make them lose face, in a sense. Like, women need to preserve this image of innocence, and it seems like it's inherent, it's like it's inbuilt in them to have to lie to preserve the image of innocence, and that they sometimes it seems like they don't even know that they're doing it. They're behaving not in their own accord.
Yeah, I think part of this is part of that herd mentality is due to, like, do you know what herd eyes are? Like, what the type of eye that a herd animal has?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's almost like biology and physiology dictates what type of person you're going to be. There's like hunter eyes and prey eyes, and prey typically has eyes that are they're bigger and wider, so they can see more stuff, so they can avoid the hunter who has more beady eyes that are more accurate for like pouncing and killing stuff. And men typically have, or attractive men typically have hunter eyes, and females typically have prey eyes. So like it's almost like this weird like phrenology. I hate to use the word phrenology, or physiological factors that lead us here. Like, but it's all based off of but biology at the end of the day. Now, where that particular herd mentality comes from probably comes from the fact that women, they rely on, or rather we used to, when we were hunter gatherers, and then when we became agriculturalists, women had to rely on the tribe to stay alive. Like most women couldn't hunt or didn't hunt, and most men had to hunt, because in order to eat food, you have to hunt. In order to be a good worker, you have to do stuff when you're a man. So what ends up happening is, like, when you live in a herd your whole life, well, you just adapt to being in a herd, and when that happens for thousands or millions of years, it's only expected that you behave like that. You behave like a herd animal, quote unquote.
No, that makes sense. But at the same time, there's also the other element that women, if you do really look at it, like deep down, they are the ultimate like hunters at the end of the day, the ultimate predators, except they function more along psychological lines. Like they have this, and I've noticed this too, they have this inbuilt, it's almost like an inbuilt psychiatrist in which they assess and they regulate their emotional, their body language, their emotional tonality, what it is that they exert in public to get specific responses out of the men that they're hunting. It's so, there's no way that they have read that much psychological material, that much human behavioral material, for them to be that good at what it is they do. But they've developed this like this hunting mechanism. Like I've noticed it's a beautiful mechanism, but at the same time it ends up coding for our folly. But it's incredible at the same time. Us men that read psychology, all we're really doing is recreating that same mechanism to hopefully some amount of efficiency. But would you agree that women are also like predators in that sense?
I'd say they're gatherers, and they're definitely predacious in a certain, especially nowadays, in the way that, like, they can use the state the state is just an extension of a tribe, so they can use the state to their advantage. But yeah, like they definitely have become more predacious over time. There is something to be said about the psychological warfare that they can engage in to make you feel like you're crazy. As far as like them being predators, I'd say yeah, they've definitely become more predacious over time. In the age where like you can literally take a man to court and take half the stuff and then leave. You know. Yeah, anything you want to add to that, Drolix, or?
Oh yeah, it just reminded me of the insect world with the praying mantis. Like the female is usually bigger and stronger than the male, and the male is like eaten after sex.
Yeah. That's like to look at the fate of man. You only have to look at the animal kingdom to figure out what happens when you give women too much power, and like it doesn't
Yeah,
typically end very well for the man. You know, the man often becomes like the joke. Like, oh yeah, what happens to the man and say a black widow? Oh yeah, he becomes lunch. You know, he's not a man anymore. You're just there to kind of hang out and die.
Yeah, and I have to
Yeah,
agree with
die.
TRP where like females are turning more predatory in that sense, and males are becoming super disposable, at least in today's society, even more so. And so then I think the predatory nature might have been always there. It's just that this crappy Me Too and womanism and all that stuff just empowering them to be more predatory as well.
Well, there's also a biological basis behind it too. I forget which one codes for which. It's either white matter or gray matter in the brain. Women actually, there's a scientific basis where women will never be for the most part along the same lines because there are two types of matter in the brain: white matter, gray matter. One codes for engineering, calculative, whatever, traditional STEM like genius, and the other one codes for emotional, social genius. Women have 7 times as much the emotional aspect,
I think
and men have seven times as much.
a white matter is the one you're talking about, and then gray matter is the smart person kind of is what the smart people typically have a lot of, which is the codes for more mathematical ability. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, but in that sense, you know how we have the ability to abstract and build these models in our head where we can formulate, we can build models for the atom, whatever, off specific thought. What if they have the same capability emotionally where they can build these emotional models? Maybe they have a different vision of emotion, just as how, many people, like for instance, if you go to somebody who obviously has a mental disability, there's no way they're going to be able to visualize what an atom is mentally. But what if they have the same capability, except along emotional lines, and they can build emotional models, just as how we can build physical models? I find that to be intriguing. That's a thought that I've been dabbling with, but I think it's a possibility in the sense that, how we associate like velocity with the electron, mass, whatever, in that model. Maybe they have the same ability to map people out in that sense.
It's possible. Like I said, I don't have any data to back up the claim at all, but like it just seems like women have been hard coded to just become very, very emotionally manipulative, to be and in order to do that, you have to have some either an instinct or some sort of mechanism to be manipulative, to show people, to tell people how to know how to push people's buttons, to know how to know all the pitfalls of a person, and to know like what kind of person they are, and to figure out how you can push the buttons to get stuff that you want. So it's definitely somewhere hard coded in the brain or hard coded in their biology to be the way they are, for sure. What do you guys think about the demographics aspect of this is something that this guy named First on Incel Maddox, he covers a lot of this stuff a lot about demographics, and how basically when you have a lot of excess men, you end up with a lot of incels. We were like, just by definition, obviously, because there's just not enough women to go around. But what you end up with is like, do you know what the I know Drolix probably knows this one, but TRP, do you know what the mouse utopia experiment is?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, basically, like you end up. I'm not letting this guy into the fucking chat. Nah, dude, no way. I don't think I would type it in here. Type it like,
Different with the priest maxing.
Jesus is Lord guy. I don't think I want to let him in here.
He's a funny guy. I'm not gonna lie.
Should I let him on, boys? Let's see. Let's see what the chat says. Let's see what the chat says. It depends. Like someone said, I'm not sure who says that. What does the chat think? He just kind of found the link and joined. I don't know. He's just chilling there. Diping, maybe later. But for now,
Jesus God, priest Max.
I'm gonna kick you. Someone said, "Do it." Someone said, "Do it."
Lol.
Oh no! What do you think, Drow? Should I do it?
Maybe the more the merrier.
Whatever. Let's add him in here. Add the stream. Diping.
Diffin, what's up, bro?
What's up, Incel? It's a good thing. You need to believe in God.
Yes, brother.
Why? What's it gonna get us,
You
dude?
need to read,
I believe in
you need
Black
to
Pill
read
Jesus.
the Bible.
We need to read the Bible.
Sex is a bad thing. It's only for procreation.
I mean, I agree with you to some extent. Like, it should definitely be used for what, like, I don't say the Bible can tell you what the purpose of something is, but like, I'd much rather live in a society where, like, you know, typically people would just use sex for like what it's kind of like quote unquote meant for, instead of just having it for like a recreation. I think part of the problem is also, you know, these chads having so much sex, but whatever.
I don't know, but you know, I would have to agree some aspects of religion is actually good because, you know, Islam has kept you know, voids in check, and the latest one from Incel TV, it's like, you know, the JBW and all that stuff spreading even in the Middle East. Like Islam is losing its grips on its women, and so yeah, some of it is valid, I would say, but I think in 2021 being like a you know, holy maxing is not going to help you.
Holy maxing. Oh, man.
You know, guys, you need to stop watching porn.
I can agree.
Yes,
I can
brother.
agree.
It's
I can agree with that to some
insane.
extent. I can agree with that to some extent. To some extent, I can agree with you there.
You need to respect Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I respect Black Pill Jesus.
Yeah,
No, Jesus Christ.
Black Pill Jesus. Yeah, Jesus was the ultimate black pillar, dude.
You need to believe in God.
Does he promise 72 virgins for us?
I think that's Allah. I think
No.
it translates well, but whatever.
If you die alone, if you die incel, this is a good thing, you know?
What
Yes.
what do I get at the end of the tunnel, though? Like, what's in it for me?
Stop focusing on sex. Start reading the Bible.
Okay.
Actually, Diffin, I'm gonna put a
I'm
quote
so
in the
glad I
chat.
didn't ban you.
Believe in Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
I'm
gonna put a Bible
serious.
quote in the
No.
chat
Has
for you
has
guys.
holy maxing helped you out
At all.
No.
Let me ask you a question, Diffin. Do you believe in that quote? No offense, I'm not being condescending.
In what?
He
I
posted
put
it
it
in the chat.
Yeah, post it in the chat. If you read the Bible from start to finish, there's much worse than that. I'm just telling you that right now.
No, you need to be a man of God. You need to believe in Jesus Christ. You need to be like Oreo Man. You go to the church every Sunday.
Church Max.
It's church Max, bruh. It's church Max.
Bro, I'm gonna start baptizing people on the street.
Fucking throw
You
some
know
water
what,
at their ass. They'll fucking-
Oreo said he would trade his soul for the
Oh, he left on his own.
He
Okay.
was trolling, right? That had to have been trolling.
But yeah, like, he has to be trouble for sure. But yeah. I was gonna go into demographics because like demographics is a huge part of like why there are incels. It's like when you have an excess amount of men, obviously there's going to be incels because there's going to be people left over just by the fact of like there's just too many men involved or too many men on the planet. But like you know, if you look at the way that that a civilizations typically go is that you have a nice pyramid of like you have a lot of old, you have very very few old people. The ideal society is that it's having very very few old people and having a lot of young people. So it looks like a pyramid. Well, and then each generation should generally have that same shape of like very very few old people and a lot of young people. Well, the problem we have right now is the fact that we have a lot of old people. It's like Japan on some level. Like Japan is in this exact situation where they have a lot of old people, but they don't have a lot of young people to support those old people now. And because of that, you end up with like this a bottleneck of like oftentimes there's not enough women to go around, and the men who couldn't make it can't like dip into a previous or dip into the next generation to find a wife. So what you end up with is a lot of like excess men who make it to like age 35, 40 with absolutely no chance of ever having sex or ever having a wife. So what do you guys think about the demographics aspect of inceldom?
Well, I think it's definitely very prevalent. I know that Japan is one. China has the same issue. If I'm not mistaken, Italy also has the same issue. They have quite a lot of old people. In Greece, like there's certain economies that have a lot of old people. Why it happens? Obviously social conditioning to some extent. Like people are chauvinists. They believe that men. I think typically um, why parents in these communities want men is because men like basically when you grow up, which I did, I grew up in one of these communities. Men like the wife is irrelevant, but the man controls the income, and the man controls, for the most part, traditionally at least in these communities, the man can give some of that out income to the parental grandparents, I guess you could say, the paternal grandparents.
Mm-hmm.
But it is true. It does manifest in a lot of toxic ways. Like especially in China, I watched a bunch of different documentaries where they have these villages full of leftover men, and it's a depressing, gloomy environment. And these men go to extremes, such as importing brides from, I don't know, Thailand or wherever it is. Like the family, like the parents of the man will invest their entire life savings just so they can import a bride. Like it tends to actually exacerbate in a sense hypergamy into a different like stratosphere.
What about you, Dralik?
Yeah, it's just part of like, first where there's like for every like 100 female, there's like 106 guys born, and it's always like a excess of men in well-to-do populace.
Yeah. That's what I was trying to get at here. It was like this, like there's always going to be more men born, if what it appears like, than there are women. And the problem is that we've kind of lost all our escape valves that used to like let the stuff like air out. So like you would have a war, kill off a few men, and then you'd end up with, like with less men in the population that would even out things so that men would have a chance, a shot at like having a wife and having kids, and keeping the population pyramid relatively stable. Well, if that never happens, or you don't have some sort of like catastrophic event that killed off a boatload of people, and particularly men, then what you end up with is like this constant bottleneck of like women becoming more and more hypergamous because there's too many men. It's basic economic supply and demand. Just a lot of something was less valuable, obviously.
Yeah, no, I would have to agree. Like, the one-child policy definitely messed up China, and then I think the same thing is happening to India.
India's
Uh,
fucked.
yeah, and just in general, like the West is, effed. Like, I think it's part of it's really due also to the, shift of power in the sense that women have their ways of, how do I say it, like not having to rely on men. Because before it was like definitely there's an aspect of having to rely on men in order to like, have kids, family, and do well in life. But yeah, I think in general, just male have become more disposable, and the more disposable we are, it's like, exactly in excess. There's nowhere to go.
Yeah, there's no last frontier anymore. Like, there's no more America to like go to and conquer. Only place to go now is up, which is to go to space. But like, I think we're a long way from that.
Yeah, I mean, I secretly think Elon Musk is an incel, but he has billions to cope with. But then part of it's like, yeah, let's go to Mars and colonize Mars or whatever, make a second Earth colony, and there'll be plenty of opportunities to, populate the red planet.
Yeah, well, like I said, if we don't make it to Mars, then like I said, I think that society can't handle much more of this weird this thing we're doing. Like we've kind of been like for lack of a better word, just kind of jerking around for fucking like a few years. Like like what's the last big technological leap we've had? Smartphones. Like it feels like every year is the same thing. We get a new smartphone, we get a new this, we get a new that, but there really is no like big technological leap. I think the next big thing's probably going to be AI, but like I mean, even then, like we have like this weird like feels like we're just stuck in like the a doldrums of like human creativity right now. Like nobody's doing anything. We're kind of just stagnant.
Yeah, it reminds me really of what is this? I can't remember when it was. It's like probably some high school biology textbook I read, and it had to do with an island somewhere in Alaska. So they had like a population of deer, and then like nature just goes through its own cycle. So they had deer population.
Hmm.
It grew so much, reproduced, they ate all the foliage, and then tend to die off, and then naturally came back up. Die off, came back up, and then they introduced like what do you call it? Coyotes and mountain lions, like predators,
Yeah.
and then the predators ended up eating all the prey, so to speak. Then the predators starved off and died. At least a lot of them did, and then it's just like a cycle of naturally balancing itself. And then finally, after like 5 years or 10 years or whatever, it balances itself out. So, I think we're in the stages of collapse where we're just going downhill, but eventually, at some point we'll balance ourselves out. All the old people are going to die out, less and less people. There'll be more opportunities later. Maybe not in our lifetime, but, it's just nature's way of getting back in harmony, so to speak.
Yeah, I think that there are like natural mechanisms. And I think TRP, you can get on this if you want, but like there's like natural mechanisms that nature has to like get things back in norm or back to normal or to keep things in balance, and that you know our ability to like change the world, quote unquote. Like human beings have this enormous ability to constantly change their environment, change the world. Like we can do that more than any other animal on this planet can, and like our ability to do that is almost to our a detriment because we end up messing up like nature's. I hate to use the word plan because it makes it sound like nature's sentient, but like it messes up things that had we just done, have we just lived a little bit more simply, we probably wouldn't be in the situation.
Yeah, no, I agree with that as well. I find that this is inevitable, no matter how you look at it. It's inevitable. Eventually, and it's happened before with the Romans and the Greeks, where they empower women. This is a test, in a sense, like the biological ceilings that they go on about in those videos. It's either we succumb to this and go through another dark age, only to recreate the exact same problem. But I do agree with you that what I think traditional morality is, it has to have some kind of a mechanistic foundation to it. Like your interpretation of reality obviously follows some molecular logic behind it. So I believe that traditional morality, what we deem to be traditionally moral, is just our way of behaving in a way where we could be harmonious with the world around us. In a sense, what happens when you have an overabundance of greed? You sap the resources of the world, overabundance of lust, super STDs, like all of these mechanisms are placed biologically in a packet in our mind in a way that we can understand what we deem to be morality. But if you really analyze what morality is, it's far more complex. It has to have some kind of a basis behind it. Otherwise, we would have consumed ourselves. Imagine if traditional, what you would deem greed, was considered morality inherent to us. We would have already sapped all the resources of the universe already at this point. Like we'd have bred our own demise in a sense. But I'm of the mindset that these things are what we interpret consciously to be morality, but subconsciously, it's just our biological mechanisms. deeming ways that we could live harmonious for the world around us to ensure that we do thrive and not consume ourselves.
Yeah, like it feels like we've our morals have we've declined morally for decades now, probably since like the 1960s, where like you had drug, sex, and rock and roll, and that was like the big thing, and now we've gone from that to like this weird like I think that all of this trans stuff, this PC culture stuff is actually more degenerative to society than on a moral level than we think it is. Like I don't think I think that that our ancestors are going to look back on this period of time and look at the stuff that we did and blanch it like how stupid we were to allow like a small minority of people to decide what is correct and what is incorrect to do in proper society. Obviously morals affect the incel problem as well. Like when we're talking about morals, like I think that there are certain morals that clash with human biology but are necessary, and there are certain morals that you can enact that are that can kind of like have this nice zen with human biology that work. And I think the ones that clash with human biology are ones like our sexual morals are completely, I think they completely clash with human biology, but they're unnecessary to keep us alive. They're necessary to keep to keep a civilization running, because if you don't have if you don't regulate the sexual marketplace, whether it's via religion or the state, it just doesn't appear to regulate itself, or rather the a nature's a regulation, which is typically the women going for all the chads. Women are nature's eugenicist. Eugenics is alive and well in America right now, and it's happening via women. And because of this, the regulation that you get via nature is way more harsh, and it excludes so many men that like you end up with this like a biological and genetic bottleneck that you can't really avoid.
Yeah, no, I would have to agree with that. Like, if we really want to analyze why this sort of degeneracy is being normalized, I went over this in a previous video where we analyzed. If anyone in the chat knows what PP cocaine is, she has this music video called Slut or SLUT. But if you really do analyze it in a sense, it's designed to normalize degenerative behavior to a younger population. The Pink, the school, the beat alone. If I were to tell you guys how those beats are created, it's quite disgusting. But the point is that they make traditionally degenerative behavior to mask it behind like innocent mannerisms and facial expressions of innocence, embraces. Like the whole theme is innocence to mask degeneracy, and it's effective, like doubly effective.
Yeah,
Those beats, actually, how they're created, they put electrodes on patients in their minds, and they stimulate sounds, and they see which areas of the mind are most affected. And that's how those beats, like if you really want to test this out, listen to that beat for the song, only the beat, for maybe an hour, 5 hours straight, and you would probably start convulsing at that point, because that beat is designed in a specific way to shut down your prefrontal cortex and stimulate certain parts of your mind. Like it's quite destructive, actually, if you really analyze. But I tend not to talk about these topics as they're very controversial and get censored, but that is the basis of it.
you got anything you want to say, Drolix? I know you unmuted yourself. Wasn't sure if you were going to contribute.
Oh no, that was kind of interesting to hear about the beats and the how it alters the brain. And then I'm pretty sure both of you probably heard TRP, or not TRP, was it TFM? Back on Incelmatic stream.
Yeah, turd flinging monkey.
Yeah, and I haven't heard much about him before, so that kind of got me curious. And I think I watched one of his videos. It was like quite based in the sense that it was a pretty good example of what could go right today in the sense. So he brought up a pretty good example where it's like to solve the problem today is just to take away women's rights away right as of right now. And he brought up an example where it's like, I think our Orthodox Jew community and the what was it, the Amish community, like their birth rates are like at like 7, where like in the average West it's like 0.2 below replacement rates. And so even within like say the US, there are communities where they're basically thriving, even surrounded among all this technology and degeneracy. So I thought that was like a pretty interesting aspect per se. And then, one other thing is like a lot of, in terms of degeneracy, I think it always existed, right? Like women are always going to go for Chad. Like, in a sense, you can't blame them. It's in their nature. And society has kept that in check, whether it's like, religion, rights, whatever. So that was kind of like my 2 cents add to this discussion here.
Yeah, like when it comes down to like degeneracy, I think TRP said like it gets kind of it gets brought in under the guise of being of innocence. And the problem with that is that like they're using women. They're using because like I think the Democratic Party by and large is the party of single women, and the Republican Party has become the party of like single men for some extent. And at the end of the or have become the party of married men of the kind of like the more traditionalist class. And like how they always framed the the gay rights stuff and the trans stuff. It's all been framed around compassion. Oh, they're just people like us. Oh, and like this stuff is true, but they never look at like what effect this is going to have on society or what effect this is going to have on children or what effect this is going to have on the people who actually have to live in society around this stuff. And like what we're finding now is that like I think in I think it was Great Britain. I only read the headline. I didn't really read the article, but like there's been like an 18% or an 8% increase in the amount of trans kids, and I'm wondering how much of that is from via society, like via social conditioning, and how much of that is via naturally. Oh, maybe it's just more trans people. I'm not sure how much of that comes from, or how much of that increase comes from just like I said, societal expectations versus societal conditioning or biology.
Yeah, you bring up good points. So one I would say is that, look at the political system now. So the reform doesn't really happen because in general, like women also have or I should say a lot of women are the majority that can vote and vote. So from the political perspective, it's like, they don't want to alienate women as a quote unquote take away their rights or privileges because these politicians know they can't get elected into power without the support of, the so-called brainwashed mass of women. And then the other aspect I think is like a lot of these politicians are just freaking old, right? I don't know if it was last stream I said like Nancy Pelosi is like 80 something,
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
embarrassing.
And these people are born in 1940, dude. Like that's ancient.
Yeah, these
Like
people they have no clue what the world is like today. Like there's
exactly.
the problem becomes like we have politicians who I think this is really a problem of like the black community and the white communities and all communities. Like it's like all of our minds are still stuck back in like the 1960s and 70s. Like black people will never let go of what do they call it? Like the civil rights movement. Like a lot of African Americans that live back then are still alive now, and it's like we can never get past this stuff because it's still being brought up by the old heads who are still
Yeah,
alive. And it's
yeah.
like,
And I know you're black and no offense, I don't mean to demean, the slavery, what
yeah,
happened
go
in
ahead.
America, but it's like get over it, dude. It's like 200 years ago. Let's move forward.
Yeah,
I'm just sorry. I'm sorry, but
oh yeah, I say that too to some extent because like I don't want to be like reminded that like oh you used to be a slave. It's like yeah, and like what does that have to do with me today? Like saying that doesn't solve my today problems. All it does is just make me remind me of the past. Like I'd rather just move forward with the knowledge in hand, knowing that hey we've done better since then.
precisely. And then on your second topic, what was it? Is the problem like well, let me finish off. It's like, oh yeah, these Nancy Pelosi type. Look at Joe Biden. It's like senile old man. Like you really think, going 2021, he's like the best, like to offer to lead, this country, so to speak. It's like, man. And then you got people like AOC, which is younger generation, but it's not that much better, so to speak. Anyways, like
Like,
these 80-year-olds, like they don't have a 20-year plan, you know, let alone a 3-year plan. So it's like these are the people leading, you know, our so-called great country. Anyways, and
yeah,
then
it
the
is.
other one
Yeah, go ahead.
that to finish off was you know, the you said if it was like cultural thing, and it was interesting because I was reading this study out of, I think it was Sweden, and you know, for their dating sphere or whatever. And it's like you know, young women, I think it's like 18 to 25 are more and more like identifying as, you know, bisexual or whatever, or multisexual.
Yeah, there's more in Gen Z. There's more. I think there's a rise in like lesbianism among among females. Like there's like 30% of women I think are in Gen Z are like literally gay or some shit like that. So
Yeah, exactly. And so, you know, whether when they say bisexual, do they swing both ways, or is it exclusive just to women, or more just leaning towards women alone? So, and then if you compare that data, say like, you know, 20, 30 years back of the same, you know, age group of women then, like, you know, women didn't necessarily swing that way per se. So, in a sense, like if you analyze it, more and more women are not straight. So then, you know, I think it's only like 1 in 5 women in that, you know, young adult age range, like 18 to 30, is actually, I think it's only 1/5 of women are straight. So it's like for even, you know, what's the word, exacerbating the incel problem, because less and less women are straight up unavailable because they just don't want men, period. And adding on to that, it's like, because less and less people are getting married and, you know, having babies, so to speak, in general, like the pool of women is shrinking even more. And so,
yeah.
yeah, it is a race to the bottom, essentially.
Anything you want
But
to add,
yeah,
TRP?
Yeah, no, I quite a few. I don't. I'm gonna go on a little bit of a rant if you don't mind,
Oh yeah, go
especially
ahead.
on the whole race thing. Like I'm mixed race myself,
Mhm.
but yeah. So the problem with taking women's rights away is that it only breeds the same problem. The problem is the only way you're going to sustain that system is if you get rid of innovation and technological progression. What you're gonna do? We're in a society where now, right now, where that's unsustainable. Yeah, you take women's rights away, but what happens during the next innovation, the next innovation? All you have to do, this is inevitable in our biological progression or societal progression, in a sense, is let it play its course. And if we proceed past this calamity, we've managed to secure our livelihood as a species. But if we succumb to it, then hey, it's just biology and nature. It's inevitable. But as far as the whole race thing, I don't debate too much because I personally find that racists have no scientific backing. They're complete idiots. But if you were to build an ethno state hypothetically, you breed the same problem. Scientifically, this is present in many areas of nature. For instance, the Argentine ant. The Argentine ant, if you know, it's a hyper aggressive form of ant, and it came to North America and started colonizing and killed off basically almost all of the native ant population. But then something interesting happened. This is what I tell racists: it's not a fix to the problem. It will only breed the same problem. The ant colony started to mutate as genes do mutate, and they killed themselves off. Taking women's rights away and, in a sense, promoting an ethno state will only promote your own absolution, your own end, because you're going to have to take away progression and innovation and natural biological testing and progression and evolution. That is the only way. The only way you can do it is if you somehow freeze time and nature, and there are no more calamities like a meteor hitting us, or no more calamities that are ever going to be present. The universe has infinite resources. Basically, like in a mouse utopia type experiment is the only way that could, and even then we'd end up overbreeding ourselves to death. So what I'm saying is these are not fixes. These only delay. If anything, they will only lead to your own absolution, and you will only breed a calamity or a world-ending event. In a sense, this is why I choose not to debate with a lot of racists either, because you ask them, okay, what's the biological basis? Do you know what a codon is? What a base pair is? This and that. If you cannot formulate a scientific basis on which you can formulate axioms for your claims and how behaviors manifest from those same fucking genetics, then I can't argue with you. I'm not going, because all these people do is they do use a form of fallacy called a call to hypocrisy. But when people don't share the same hypocrisy as you, that argument fails, and they're fascists in a sense because they are science deniers. But my point is that you're only going to breed the end if you do that.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I mean, like I'm definitely not really a demographics thing has been brought up by white nationalists for years. Actually, they've been talking about a demographics for decades now, talking about how yeah, like the white race is dying off because they aren't having enough kids. You know, they're not wrong to some extent because like they aren't having enough kids. Like every single a European country other than America, and the only reason America is even above replacement is because we have our cousin our people to the southern border crossing the border. It's the only reason we even have a our population isn't declining right now. But yeah, like I don't really argue with white nationalists too often myself. It's only because it just seems like the argument always devolves into like, what does your ideal ethno state accomplish? Like, is there anything that like it seems like the only reason they want the ethno state is to try to save their race? But I think you're kind of right in respect that like what you end up doing is like you end up delaying the inevitable. You will eventually end up back in the same situation you were before with your women wanting more rights, and you're going to give them more rights. You're going to end up back in the same situation you were before. Just to change topics real quick, what did you God, what the fuck's the topic going to bring up? I'm sorry, Drolix, are you going to say something?
Oh, yeah, no, I have to agree with TRP. It's like like if you do a deep dive into thinking this ethno state or whatever, and as a human race, we got, black people, Asian people, white people, whatever. Like just imagine, I don't know, Star Trek or whatever, like hundreds of years in the future, and all this intermingling of human race. It's like eventually it feels like it's just going to come up to quote unquote the human race, that there will be no more black people, white people, Asians, Latinos, or whatever. And so in a sense you transcend, you become this human race, but then what, right? It's like, okay, now you have this human race of one people, but it seems like it's still a race to the bottom, or just prolonging it.
Yeah, if I can add on to this, I'm gonna end this stupid racist debate once and for all. I'm tired of it because these people, the reason why their arguments prevail is because they have no understanding of fucking epigenetics and how genetics evolve over time. Like it's stupid. But my point here is that okay, so epigenetics cause evolution. For instance, if you take a generation, if you take black people and put them in an environment where traditional Europeans evolved over 1,000 generations, they will evolve to have white skin and whatever. Like you lose melanin over time in those environments, or you gain melanin over time through epigenetics because of what was traditionally called junk DNA, right? Which you would refer to junk DNA. When transcription occurs, this junk DNA actually changes the allele or the stranding, the prime location. It actually changes the DNA, and then there's different processes like ligation. My point here is that everyone here in North America, if given enough generations, will all resemble one another. There's no such thing as race besides phenotype differences. We all share the same mechanism, and if given enough time, we will all resemble one another. Like that's the point. The only real change is evolutionary, randomized change that happens due to accidents, but we all have the same epigenetic basis for change and evolution of genes over time. But this is obviously like what you would call a junk DNA. But anyone that actually does any research on epigenetics would realize that, yeah, these guys are idiots. Like they don't understand the basis of their own arguments. Even like the same idiots that want an ethno state will look different in 1,000 years from now. Like what are they arguing?
Yeah, we'll all be the same in the end.
Ultimately,
Yeah,
you
then
fix
what?
no problems. Like you fix nothing. You've just like I said, you've delayed the inevitable. You will eventually end up back in the same bottleneck you were before. Let's see. What's the next topic? Let's see. Anybody here have a topic you want to bring up? I forgot my topic.
Afterlife maxing and Jesus max.
Yeah, afterlife maxing. Oh my god.
Dude, that guy killed me. The fucking halftime show. Like Diffin's usually a cool guy, but he does troll, I'm guessing. But
Let me read the comments real quick. Let's see what we got here. We got Pineapple talking about degenerates. Please, what the fuck? Okay. Oh, was Darkcell in here? Oh shit, didn't know he was in here. All right, Darkcell podcast. All right, he's another cool dude. Got a pretty big channel. Let's see. What do you guys think the what's gonna happen in 2021? Oh yeah, here's my topic. Do you guys think that the riots, even the last riots we had in Capitol Hill and the and these and the riots now, do you think these even the ones that happened over the summertime last summer, you think those are a byproduct of the incel problem? Because men tend, it's almost like this is something that First talks about a lot on his stream. He basically talks about how like these men basically are trying to like show off and trying to show off like, look, I'm a revolutionary. It's like it's like a way to like stand out.
Oh, definitely. I forgot what the guy's name was. I think on Twitter, he basically, kind of exposes the excuse me. He exposes the guys that, get arrested and whatnot. And if you look at them, a lot of them are like degenerates in the sense like, they're definitely incel blue pillars that, just they don't know it. And yeah, there's some aspect to it like, oh, I want to impress this girl, or yeah, let's get on with this. I think like, what do you call it? They just want to see the world burn too as well. I'll have to look up the guy's name. I think it was like Andrew something, but yeah.
What about you, TRP?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. It falls alongside the same argument as the ethnicity nationalists. They'd rather tip the board versus lose the game. I think they already, like, if you really do look at it, their intentions solely revolve around some kind of a sexual gratification. Like, there's no need. If you, there's an old saying, if you want to find motivation, look at the sexual ends.
Yeah, that's very. I mean, like, I think people always say like everything is about sex except sex, and then that's about power. Like, I think everything that human beings do tends to revolve around. Like, I think did Dave Chappelle made a joke about this, basically saying that like if a man could live in a cardboard box and get pussy, he wouldn't even bother like leaving the cardboard box. Like, but at the end of the day, we do so much stuff. Like, you can call it simping, you can call it whatever you want to call it. We do so much stuff to we buy cars, like we keep the economy going based off of like sex. Like, it really is insane how much sex dominates our mind and dominates our economy as well. Like it's all like everything leads back to like this like weird sexual shit. Mr. Pickle. Oh shit. Pickle Rick.
Yes, sir. Yeah, no, it seems that way. Like, it just seems like these men are just frustrated with their lack of companionship and lack of. I realize this too, actually. Most men, sex is a component, but they want. If you actually look, I feel like dates are not about women anymore. They're about men displaying their status and their ability to take out a woman on a date. If you look at it, it seems like these men enjoy the date more than women. Except Chads. Obviously, Chads would rather just be smashing, but it almost seems that way to me. Like, I used to work at a restaurant back when I was in doing my undergrad, and I've noticed specific behavioral phenomena on dates, and that insultier men they get such a sense of validation. Like, oh, look at me, I've secured this woman on a date, and all the other insultier men would look at him and validate him. But the Chads that I've seen on dates, they're just on their phone the entire time. Like, they don't give two fucks about it. But it seems like they want that validation, and that's why they're rioting. And they're frustrated because they can no longer get that validation, and their frustration boils and ends up in violence, in a sense, to impress women. They're about the fact that they're violent men.
Yeah, I think MD talked about this specifically. What is it? Damn, there's a medical term for it, hybristophilia or something like that, where women are attracted to, violence.
Hybristophilia, I think, yeah, that's what you're talking about. They're attracted to this, like, the man who can, like, destroy them effectively.
Yeah, and just to add, like, yeah, like the Dave Chappelle one reminded me, it's like pretty much everything for the most part men do is to, secure snuggles. I think I was reading one book or there was a good documentary, like the internet accelerated once, the internet was made for prawn, right? And
Yeah.
then innovation in what do you call it? The online credit card process payment. Like the guy that made the first, process payment thing made millions because he had to figure out, you can now start charging men for porn. And how do we get to payment process that? And I think he made a fortune from that aspect. So yeah, it's like everything is from the drive of snuggles, or the drive for snuggles.
Yeah, like it really is within. I brought this up in the TRP stream, but like capitalism has this ability. Like capitalism isn't moral. It's not a moral system. It's completely amoral. It's all about finding something that you can make a profit off of and just exploiting it. And really, all we've done is exploit human psychology for decades, really for centuries, since really the beginning of mankind. All we've been doing is just exploiting human psychology, human wants and needs, and we've taken something that used to be considered to be sacred, which was sex, and we've now exploited that too. So like, what else will we exploit? Okay, well, what's next on the list? We're gonna start exploiting human interaction now. Like, okay, well, we've taken what used to be like something innocuous, like going on a date, and now we've turned that into something you can also exploit as well with OnlyFans and tag the sponsor and a Dubai porta potty and the stuff like that. Like all this stuff, like it's just finding new ways to exploit people. Yeah, I'm not saying socialism is good at all, dude. And the thing is, like, we're just talking about a system here. But either way, we're talking about the system that exploits people to such an extent to where like you make nothing is sacred anymore in the moment you put a price tag on it.
Yeah, no, and for that same reason, that's why I decided to make such a major shift and decided to go into technology and decided to learn technology for the most part because I realized that it's inevitable. And if you like innovation is inevitable, but I find with a lot of these traditionalists, they idealize a time when we didn't have as much innovation and they want to recreate our lack of innovation. I find that innovation and progression of human society and human capability scares these people at a genetic level and they have no means of coping with it. I feel like there's a process, almost like a genetic switch where they're like, okay, I'm no longer fit to procreate and thrive in this society. So it activates like this hyper aggression, hyper violent. I have to create anarchy type mentality in these men. I forget which scientist said it, but he said that the human race is going to be splitting into two along not ethnic lines but intellectual lines. And other now scientists and biologists have come to the conclusion that we're already there. But I find that might be it. These people, because to cope in the society, you need to have very many traits. One of them being
Oh man.
hyper intelligent, right?
Yeah, I have to agree with this just based on my own, observation. And so, not to dox myself, but I have like a CS degree. I work in tech. Everything right now essentially is moving to automation. Like in this day and age going forward, I think if you don't have like a tech degree or, versed in technology or some sort of way working in tech, it's like, what other job do you have? They're all, low wage cuck, minimum wage cuck jobs, which will eventually get phased out. And so, less and less people will have the opportunity to just even earn a decent living through normal means, right? And so it's like automation is real, it's coming. Majority of these like, low wage jobs that support, so to speak, the bottom tier of the, populace is going to be gone. And yeah, I think like there is a divide. Like you're either smart enough to adapt and get on with this tech world, or you're just gonna left up or left behind essentially.
Yeah, you get left out to dry basically. Like you're left holding the bag, the proverbial bag at the end of the day. Like at the end of the day, like if you don't have a college degree, if you don't have a science, if you don't have a BS in something, you're screwed. Like if you get a BA in something, you're kind of fucked. You know, in arts and some art degrees and more than that, you're fucked. Like you really do have to find something sciencey or technology to like maintain yourself in the job market right now. Like it's impossible to keep going if you don't have that, or it's impossible to like even a money max if you even have like a like a BA in like economics and like that.
Yeah, I
Is it?
mean, I think ultimately there will be some jobs that, cannot be automated, like per se doctors, healthcares, nurses,
Yeah.
like sanitation engineering, like, something. But some along those lines, yeah, there are some jobs that can't be replaced. But, for the majority, I mean, look at restaurants, the, automated dishwashing, robots cooking your food, it's soon there won't be even servers. It's just like you press a button, order your food, it's all automated.
Yeah, if you want to see the future, just look at Japan right now. Japan is like a few years ahead of where we're headed actually, because they have a high. Like we're entering this era, we're gonna have a high amount of old people and not enough young people, and it's like, Japan is like has robots everywhere, robots serving food, robots doing this, robots doing that. It's like, okay, well, where are we going next? Like AI, AI robots next? Like I don't know.
Yeah, I feel the desperation from Uber with this gig economy too. It's like I keep getting emails for, $30 off, get your next meal on us. And
Dang.
like I'm just saying, all these Uber drivers thinking that, they can ride it out, so to speak. It's like these things are disappearing fast.
Yeah, anything you want to add to that, TRP?
Yeah, no, I agree with that too. Our economy has sort of shifted from, I guess you could say, manpower lines to more intellectual lines. Like you need, like your basis to provide is solely dependent on your intellect. If you look at, for instance, just lol at finance degrees because AI has already taken over trade, stock. You're not going to compete with AI. It's impossible. And then you look at AI taking over transportation. Like Waymo, I know is not the way, but Elon Musk, he has machine vision in a sense, in that transportation is dead. All these, that's why these people are sort of angry that having a good work ethic and working hard and not having to learn science and math and all these things is no longer is no longer a requirement to actually thrive in the society, because the demands of the societal lines have shifted, and that's why they're angry. They hate innovation, they hate automation. It's an innate genetic fear of the unknown, because they know they cannot adapt to the society, they cannot thrive in the society. So what do? Instead of losing the game, they tip the board. And that's essentially what you're seeing around you with these fucking ethno state nationalists, these red pill trad cocks, all these people. All they're gonna do, they know they've lost the game alongside the ability to thrive and in the society. So if they can't thrive, they want you to suffer alongside them. It's this innate like self-destruct feature that I try to understand in human beings once they face a point where they know that they're no longer required.
Yeah, just to shift gears real quick here, let's go into another question. There was a question asked, and Faith and LMS had a stream like probably a month ago now. And during that stream, this guy named Man of Tomorrow, he has a YouTube channel, and he asked the question of like, do you think there's a difference between the black pill for black people and a black pill for white people? Do you think there's a major difference between like the races when it comes to the black pill and what it means for us?
Um, where do I start with that?
Exactly.
Like, I find racism to be one of the most grossly illogical and unrealistic calamity breeding like mindsets, and I find that the only people that really cling to race are people that have achieved nothing and have to go to some kind of an inherent sense of achievement in life. But My point is that, yeah, the divide arises where insecurity arises. But if you go along, if you talk to successful, secure men, be it Incel or Chad, racism or race is rarely a topic that they speak about. And if you talk about it along genetic lines, mixed race people with more genetic diversity, like I'm mixed race, right? They have significantly more biological advantages than people that are of just one ethnic and one of them actually is it's called chimerism in a sense. So chimerism is fairly present in animals. Chimerism means that you have two sets of parental DNA. Many people don't understand how the immune system works, but having two sets of parental DNA, I'll give you an example how that can manifest. For instance, your heart or your lungs could be coded by they have two different cell structures, meaning that if there's a virus that ends like a human ending virus, one of the genes that you have, one set of parental genes might die out, but now you have a exponentially better immune system because now you have another set of genes that code for the same function. So alongside any logical, theological, genetic, scientific lines, racism dies out. I think it only arises due to insecurity because if you try to talk it out logically, as I'm doing now, as we've been doing this entire stream, it fails. You cannot prove racism unless you're a fascist and you create your own bullshit science, like Hitler's. How bullshit they were doing. They were measuring the forehead and the nose difference and that nonsense.
Phrenology, or they call it phrenology.
Yeah, unless you do that garbage, which is completely unscientific, then you can prove your garbage. But along any scientific lines, no. Along human insecurity lines, yes. Then you could. That's what I think causes this mentality.
Huh. Okay. What about you, Drolix? I think there's a difference between the pills that, so like the black pill for a black man is different from the black pill for a white man. You think there's a difference there or what?
For some aspects, I would have to agree. Like, in terms of like the black pill as a white man, maybe you have the JBW card to play, but as a right cell myself, I can't play that card, so to speak, right? So there are slight differences within the race, and I'm not gonna lie, probably curry cells get treated worse as an Asian man. It's terrible. It's already over. And then maybe you have the BBC game with being, Tyrone and all that stuff, but like the majority of like African American aren't like, LeBron James, 6'6" and like 250 pounds, built for basketball and for, being Tyrone. So yeah, like in slight differences, maybe, the race does play a role in the experiences of the inceldom for each person, or yeah, even in race per se. But then ultimately, it's like, Foids want the same thing. So it is a shared experience with slight differences, I would say.
Yeah, I would say that one of the biggest differences between the black pill for black men and the black pill for white men would probably be this like weird educated lame thing we have going on in the black community, where like education appears to be like in almost every other race, it's something to be venerated and to be respected, but like for in the black community, it appears like almost like there's this concept called like Negro juice, where like this guy named O'Shea Duke Jackson kind of coined the term, basically saying that like you kind of have to act a little bit hood or act a little bit more ghetto to get attention from black women in the black community, versus like in the white community, there isn't really, like, you don't have to act like, you can act any way you want and still find a woman in your community that likes you. But like in the black community, it appears like it's like you need something extra in order to make it. If that makes any sense,
Well, I can agree with this firsthand. Like I grew up in the hood. Like no offense, but like yeah, as soon as you have to act that way, otherwise you get bullied, you get ostracized. So I used to act that way too. You know what I'm saying? But the point is that once you make it out in that environment, I think that might actually just be an environmental factor too. Like once you're put in that environment, it doesn't matter. Yes, I do agree with you. Black people more so than anything have to act that way if they want to ascend in those communities, but the community as a whole also like plays a role in that there's heavily social like consequences for acting normal. Like if you act like, no offense, like normal is different to everybody, but if you act hood, like if you don't act hood, like you're gonna get bullied, you're gonna get ostracized, nobody's gonna like you, your life is going to be a living hell. So I do agree with you in that sense. Like, but I think a great deal of that, because if you looked at Black communities prior to this hip hop bullshit culture, like they were very like, during the 60s or 70s, they're very respectable. They were artistic, creative. Like if you look at many of the great works from Black people prior to this modern degeneracy, I feel like this degeneracy was created from the elites to degenerate the Black community in a sense. I don't know why, but that would make the most sense because it's a fairly new phenomenon.
Yeah, there's this whole thing about a gangster rap. I mean, like gangster rap literally came from, I guess, but like it definitely evolved from the conditions in the Black community, obviously. But those conditions came from, I think it's like a well-known fact that like they literally pumped in like crack cocaine into the Black community to make it worse. They knew what would happen effectively when they pumped in that stuff for the CIA to get money. So like it's a well-known fact that like our government effectively worked against us when it came to our race for sure. So
Oh yeah, there was just a new documentary that came out on Netflix, called The Crack, literally, and it was pretty interesting. It all started from, the Reagan era where they secretly were funding or selling weapons to Iran to fund the rebels or in the Southern America, and then the Southern American rebels were funding or sending back cocaine back to the US, and it was like this perfect cycle of like money exchange for weapons from Iran, and that money goes back to sell weapons into South America, and then the drugs would come right back. And yeah, if you haven't checked it out, it's actually pretty informative, and it shows why this whole war on drugs even started to begin with.
let's see. I'm gonna put the comments up on the board real quick here. Let's see. Someone said Jack Nickelback. I like this guy a lot. He says we have a history of being functionally dysfunctional. The '60s back are better on the surface. Huh. I wonder what he means. I guess he means that like the '60s, basically, it only appears they were better, but really only on the surface they were better. Everything else was basically worse for the Black community. I'm assuming he means the Black community, but not sure. And then Nuclear Redfield says, "Well, the white community isn't exactly any better off." Yeah, it's true. I mean, you're better off relative to the Black community, but like overall, like the white community's been, the middle class overall has been decimated across the board when it comes to America for sure. Like where we are not getting, the middle class has not expanded in years. It's definitely been decreasing for decades now. So
Yeah, I would say even through that documentary, the Black community did suffer way more than any other community in terms of the crack epidemic and war on drug consequences and the whole prison industrial complex.
yeah, they destroyed the family unit. They like, if you, the Black people were like, this guy named Sergeant Willie Pete always says this line, and it sticks with me a lot. He says, Black people are the canaries in the coal mine when it comes to what's happening, what's going to happen to the white community. The white community right now is being inundated with stuff like what's the opioid epidemic has been attacking the white community for years now, actually. And like, what happens? You introduce the people, the men lose jobs. You introduce a drug into the system to make themselves feel better, and then past that point, a grimace. God damn, that's a grimace. Or what is that? That's a hammer. Fucking grimace. God damn it.
Yeah, that's grimace. Yeah.
You introduce like the drugs into the community, and things get worse and worse and worse. The men are without jobs, and then you create incels, and this is just a downward spiral from there. So yeah, I mean, like it's definitely not like but yeah, like you can look at if you want to see the future of the white community, you can look at the Black community for like your preview for that, because like everything going on in the Black community between the matriarchal structure and the really the a gynocratic structure of the Black community is coming to the white community pretty soon. So
Yeah, it's gonna happen in any community, I would say. I think the Hispanic community has resisted it far better than any other ones, I guess.
yeah, they tend to be more Catholic and religious, so they have that family structure. Not only do they have a nuclear family structure, they have a extended family structure as well, which is a good insulator against that type of stuff. Wayne Young says, let the chaos grid help. Wrong guy. Get rid of welfare and the blacks will do better. I can agree with that only in part. I think we need to wean people off of welfare for sure. That's something I do agree with. So
Yeah, I think I think if you look at history, it's like ultimately there's lack of opportunity, right? Like there's no jobs, there's no prospects. So what ends up happening? It's like from a Foyd's perspective, you can always like, thug max or cling on to the, toughest thug max dude there. Or, it's like you have men to sort of speak to rely on. But then for the mass majority of men, it's like, when things go bad, it's like there's no prospect of jobs, economic growth or escape. And then, it's like, it reminds me of the old documentary, like, how the wars get started in Africa. It's like there's always these massive amounts of men that are impoverished, no prospects, no jobs. And, here comes the leader, rouse them up, gets them organized, and, start a revolution. And I think it's just inevitable. Like, America's economy is going to shit. There's less and less job opportunity for growth. And it's like, it just happens anywhere, wherever there's, destitute.
Yeah, I'd
Yeah, I
have
can
to agree with that.
yeah.
But the way I see it is that, as I've stated earlier, like we're at a time right now where if you have the intellect and the innovative capabilities and the willingness to learn, you can ascend beyond measure. I think where the disparity lies is that very few people actually have that ability nowadays. And that's why you're seeing this epidemic, the middle class being essentially like completely destroyed in a sense, because to be part of the middle class now, there's more of a barrier to entry, not along like work ethic lines, but along intellectual lines. Like you're gonna have to work in STEM 100%, and most people just don't have the capability of doing so.
Yeah, so I could offer per se a unique perspective. Like what you said is 100% true. And I am experiencing this. It's a weird experience. Like you wonder why the rich get rich and the poor get poor. So it's like I've lived on the other side of the coin, right? Like I was poor, broke, like not to dox myself, but after high school, it's like you're on your own, you're just struggling to, make ends meet, survive or whatever. Like I scraped up enough money to, just save. I use that to invest in education. And I went to university and got like, a CS degree and whatnot. And now I'm like, dude, by no means am I trying to brag here. It's like I'm just offering a perspective. It's like, when in 2020, like, millions of people are getting their laid off and doing pretty shitty. It's like, I'm a computer programmer. So in that sense, I guess my skills and knowledge is valued in this day and age where everything is pushed online. And, it's almost tax time. So I'm looking at, holy shit, I just made 170,000 for the year 2020, right? As a computer programmer or software or whatever, or I should just say software engineer. And so it's like, I have more money than I know what to do ever in my life for the first time. And so, like, what do? It's like you save it, you invest it, and, then it's like, yeah, I got money, it's investing, it's growing. So then it's like, holy shit, this is why rich people continue to get rich. And for the vast majority, there is no opportunity, so to speak, to escape. And yeah, I'm not bragging or anything. And, I had help on the way. Luck has to do with it. Maybe I was at the right time at the right place as well. So, but yeah, like you say, it's like a great divide. Like you either got the intellect and you can capitalize on it and you do better, where for the vast majority, it's like, you know, it's not looking good.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Like I myself, luck does have something to do with it, but I do work in an engineering field, so it's alongside the same lines. Like it's too much to expect, for it is what it is. Like innovation breeds this calamity, but at the same time, it is unfair. I find that a greater burden. We have to design a system whereby people don't feel, like they've lost the sense of purpose, which is in essence what's happening now. People's purpose used to be work your lame factory job, not to be condescending and then go home and you have a beautiful family there waiting for you. And now that's taken away, which was necessary. And if you look historically, this was just an evolution of it. Now it's just like people have a hard time coping with the fact that in order to go back to that way of life, they have to go back to a dark ages type anarchy world ending event because there's no way otherwise. Like innovation is just going to continue to progress, and I feel like they've been further left behind. But yeah, what do you guys think of like PUAs? Like, if you guys want to go over that, because I find it to be pretty entertaining roasting those clowns.
I mean, PUAs. I haven't. Are they still relevant? Like, do you? I never fell for the garbage. Like, I never fell for the whole, for the whole, for the whole PUA garbage. Like, it just never like appealed to me. I was like, okay, like this stuff seems really clownish. You know what I mean? Like, it just seems like you're either like being a fucking court jester and like dancing around like a fucking retard, or you're like trying to like you know, you're it's like just trying to like I said in your stream, like trying to give you like a cookbook for human interaction, and it's like it's not how human beings work. You can't just use a cookbook to figure out how to talk to a woman or some shit like that, you know.
Yeah, I guess you could call me old school. I don't know if you know Mystery, not Mystery School, but Mystery
Yeah.
back in the day.
Yeah, watch the TV series.
Yeah,
That show's
on,
hilarious.
Yeah, on VH1.
Yeah,
Yeah.
shit, God.
Yeah, so that got me like all into the PUA artist thing. But I guess the most I've ever fell for it was just buy like a $20 book. And so, thank God never was stupid enough to waste money on any of that shit. But
Dude, I ain't
yeah,
gonna lie.
like I feel they're getting far less relevant. I think a lot of people are waking up to the black pill.
Yeah, some of the I think Donovan Sharp, he's like probably one of my more I don't like him that much really at all. I used to watch his content quite a bit, but then I kind of like fell off of it later on. And like he's constantly pushing his like book of like womanese, buy the womanese book. It's like, what the fuck?
Wait, womanese? No.
Yeah, like womanese, like
What is that?
how to tame your woman if it's like an instruction manual of how to like talk to women. I'm like, what are you talking about, dog? Like, you fucking crazy? Like,
Dude, how is he not destroyed by feminists by now? Like, what?
I don't know, dude. Womanese. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
No. These guys are
Like I
idiots.
said, like they're trying to give you like a fucking like cookbook to like talk to people, and it's like people aren't something you can just like look at a cookbook at and it's like, oh, put some flour in a fucking bowl and some sugar and some eggs and mix it around for a little bit and then you get a girlfriend. Like, no, like it's way more.
All I gotta say is if it was true, like he would be a millionaire by now, right?
Yeah, if it was that fucking easy, he'd be fucking done, dude. He'd be done though. He wouldn't even be on YouTube anymore, dude. But no, obviously this shit's bullshit. Like,
I'm gonna sell you
Max,
to women.
You have
Dude,
like
the worst part is their wives. They look like Hambies. Have you seen
dude, Donovan Trump's
Right?
girlfriend looks like, or wife or whatever the fuck she is to him. Oh my god, I was like he talks like Devin.
Chewbacca, right?
He talks like Devin as if she was like some you know, I don't know, this is the most beautiful woman on the face of the planet. And then you look at a picture of it and you're like, oh my god, that's what he got. You're like, oh, I thought we were talking about like some like bombshell. It's just like some like overweight middle-aged white woman. It's like, okay,
No,
dude.
bro.
What I don't get, I guess by definition, Chad or Giga Chad would be a blue pill normie. But get one of these Chads to like legitimately, market this shit, showing him slaying like all these, hot, beautiful women, and like they could make a fortune just selling the lie because they have tangible receipts.
I mean, they are making like, I mean, they gotta be making some money, right? Like, like otherwise they wouldn't be on here anymore, right? Like, wouldn't they got to be making some money off somebody? Because like, unless it's just all like a YouTube ad revenue or something like that. But there's no way they can be monetized at this point, right? Like,
No, I think the YouTube ad revenue is pretty minimal, but I think what was it? The Richard Coper guy is like charging like $800 for an hour session. I'm just, are you kidding me?
You're joking.
So
$800.
if you get like a blue pilled sucker, like at least one or two or three of them a month, like you just paid rent.
You're set, yeah, right. Grift maxing, bro.
Exactly.
Dude, $800.
That's
An
insane.
hour.
I better be getting some gold by the end of that. What the
I
fuck?
mean, dude, he better be like tickling my fucking balls, like just like, touching me, like,
Dude, for the same price, you could have got an escort, like a couple of them, for sure.
Like
you
five,
could have
six.
got you could have got like a prime tier one, like you could have got something like great, like you could have like a 19-year-old or some shit like that, and you paying fucking Richard Coper fucking $800 to tell you some shit you already fucking know. Like, okay, well,
Yeah, I think even one of the guys posted on like a forum saying that, yeah, it was just literally the same bullshit in his courses or whatever. It was not worth the 800.
Dude, all they do is read off a PowerPoint sometimes. Like, that's what I heard. Like, these guys pay for like $500 tickets to a seminar, and the motherfuckers there just reading off a PowerPoint.
I mean, at least my PowerPoints are fucking free, like, like.
Dude, imagine like you got grifted that hardcore. Like you're there for an hour watching a PowerPoint slide. Damn.
They're like, oh, here, and this is the slide where they tell you about how to like fucking adjust your mags and how to be a clown. And it's like, okay, this is fucking bullshit.
Okay, so before you approach her, you have to do 2 backflips.
Yeah, do a
1.25 seconds apart. And then pull the Tekken combo on her.
Tekken combo.
Imagine. Fucking
Um,
autism, bro. I can't. But it is, you got to give credit where credit is due. It's a pretty high IQ scam when it was running. Like, it was high IQ, bro.
Yeah, like it really it amazes me that men ever fell for it, because like, or men still fall for it, I guess, obviously, because they're still doing it. Like, I'm gonna pay for a fucking dating coach to fucking tell me some shit, like to tell me some basic shit, like, oh, just talk to her, bro, or you gotta talk to her this way, bro, or talk like you paid $800 to have a, like, I could have told you that shit for free.
Yeah,
Just
it's
talk.
I think First said it best, right? Like never underestimate a man's ability to cope.
Bro,
Oh, yeah.
Einstein had a sick saying too. He's like, the only difference between genius and stupidity is that genius has a limit. you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Oh my god.
Womanese.
Like I said, womanese, how to tame your woman. And it's like, what is this? How to train your dragon or some shit? Like, what's going on? Like,
dude, I can't. But the thing is, like, it's still relevant here in Toronto where I'm at, because Toronto is one of the epicenters. It's like a band of like 5 or 6 incels following like the head incel. It's so cringe. It's so autistic. Every time I go to downtown Toronto, I see them. They go from Eaton Center to like outside in the major like metropolitan areas. He's like, you point them toward a girl and they just run off and get rejected one by one, looking like a fucking clown. Like, to me, it's entertaining. But like, it's actually still like, you'd be surprised. Like, men are really that low IQ. Like, it's like, what the fuck?
no, it's because a male thirst has like no bottom, dude. Like, it just goes on forever, dude. Like, men will never, ever, ever, ever satiate that thirst, dude. Like, they never will. It's like they're constantly thirsty, constantly fucking horny, and they're looking for something, dude. And it's like, oh well, if I just read this book, and the book's the womanese book, it'll give me my woman. And it's like, well, no, like,
dude, fucking womanese. Like, what?
Like, you're 5 fucking 2. You got the face of a fucking. You got a face only a mother could love, and she barely loves it herself. And it's like, okay, like, what do you expect to happen here? Like,
Yeah, it's all about selling that fantasy.
Bro,
I
it's like
think,
the alter reality. They're like an alchemist, like womanese, bro, and then like she just perceives the fucking chat. Oh, have you heard about that autistic tactical soap?
yeah, like they'll sell products, and it's like, what are you doing? Who's
Just
buying
use my
this?
soap, bro, and you'll get laid.
Like, who is buying this stuff?
Just take a shower, bro.
Yeah, literally just take a shower, bro. Like, yeah, like.
Tactical soap, like what the fuck? Oh
No,
my
I think
God.
that shower thing actually it has a legit origin. I think it was quoted in a GQ magazine on how to get women.
Just take a
Oh,
shower.
no.
Oh my god.
Make sure you take a shower. I'm like, yeah, thanks for the most obvious advice.
Like, did you think I was walking outside with like dog shit on my face? Like, what?
Oh wow, I'm so glad I read this. Now I'll shower more than once a month. Like what the fuck? Like, come on, man. Like nobody's reading it like that. What do they even think people shower once a month? Like, are they idiots? You know what I'm saying?
Oh my
Damn,
God.
bro. Like the shit's funny. I decided to this topic's hilarious because it's so autistic, man. It's like how do guys fall for this garbage?
Yeah, and it's like it really is autistic because like nobody behaves the way they like they write their books. Like nobody behaves that way. Like their books read like a sex manual.
Oh no.
It's like I never read their books, but I'd imagine reading their books and going to a seminar. You must be like, wow. Like I'll put it to you this way: if you have to fucking go to a dating seminar to get a woman, it's already over. It's already
I know.
over, dude. Like,
A fucking like college course on womanese or some shit.
yeah, like come on, dude. It's already over. It has to be.
The thing is, like, I've actually heard about this because in Toronto, these stories come on once in a while, where like some like Indian like like curry cell would be approaching a woman, and now he's banned from all the Shoppers Drug Marts, which is like a drugstore here.
Yeah.
Or like they get banned from Walmart for life. Like it's hilarious.
Damn.
I know, right?
Why
Like
you don't get
public
banned from
ostracized.
Walmart?
Like, you can apparently.
Who hits on chicks at Walmart?
These guys do. They tell you to hit on chicks like everywhere. It's like,
oh yeah, it's terrible. It's
Oh
called
yeah, they
the
say
day game, the day game strategy or whatever bullshit.
they call it a numbers game. Like, oh yeah, just a numbers game, bro. Just keep hitting them chicks till you find one who likes you. It's like yeah, that's not fucking autistic at all. Like it's not fucking weird.
Yeah, and man, like I think it might have been one of Face's stream but you know that bullshit mindset or bulldog mindset or whatever.
Oh him, yeah, a blue
Yeah,
dog
and
mindset or like
he,
blue pill
like,
mindset.
Yeah, and in one of the streams, like he basically kind of admitted it. I don't know if it was indirect or direct, but he's like, yeah, you're gonna have to do like 3,000 approaches, then you get some luck. I'm just like 3,000
Wow.
approaches. It's like just to get a woman's number, like screw that,
3,000
Dude, you know how much
approaches.
energy that is. Oh man, 3,000. Holy, that's like I don't know, like a month or two of fucking approaching straight.
Yeah, and he had it where it's like, how many days are you approaching? Like, how many hours are you approaching? And I'm just like, dude, it's a full-time job approaching.
Like, am I getting paid for this shit? Like, what?
Exactly. I'm like, I got better shit to do.
salesman and some shit. Like, come on.
Oh man, I
man.
can't. They're like these life fucking coaches, bro. You know what I tell these guys all the time? Like these financial gurus. Just buy my Forex, bro. My course on Forex and compete with AI. Like, come on. I tell these guys all the time. Like, if you really believe in your product, the fact that you can generate like $1,000 in a week or within about a day for somebody, why not create a fucking investment firm at that point? It would make more sense. You can give us a certain percentage of the profit over time if you really believe in your bullshit. Like I tell these guys all the time, if you want to test them out, be like, okay, here's $1,000, make it 10,000 by the end of the week. They're not gonna do it because it's fucking nonsense.
My cryptocurrency is going crazy right now. Oh my god! I don't mean to change the topic here, but man, it's like going insane right now. Oh shit! Can't wait to cash out that that sweet cryptocurrency.
Yes.
I don't know, man. Cash out early because this stuff is like a bubble, if you ask me.
It feels like it, but I bought in the chain link. Bought at 15. It's at 23 right now, so I'm doing pretty good. Doing all right.
Did you guys hear about that MGTOW coin that just ended up being a complete scam and they stole a fuck ton of money from guys? Yeah, like Chris Cantu, they stole a bunch of money for their reviewers through that
Are we
MGTOW
talking
coin.
like a real coin or like a Bitcoin?
Like a Bitcoin, like a cryptocurrency. They made a cryptocurrency and stole a bunch of money from the MGTOW community.
I had no clue.
Yeah, dude. No, this was pretty big. Like I think a couple of years ago. I think his name is Chris Cantu or something. They made their MGTOW cryptocurrency, and it just ended up being them grifting a bunch of money from people. It's such a meme. Like, come on.
Damn, they got scammed hard. That's fucked.
Yeah, I think most people are clueless when it comes to Bitcoin. It's I think it was one of the other streams from another Incel channel. It's like the guy is creating his own currency, and he's trying to get like all these Incels to invest in it, and then probably run the same scam.
Yeah, you got to watch out when you're investing, especially when it comes to like these like fucking like people who tell you, "Oh, just buy penny stocks. Just buy penny stocks, buddy." It's like, okay, well, yeah, you fucking lose all your fucking money, like that's why. But like, yeah.
Oh yeah, there's no get rich quick scheme. It's like the best advice like for the stock market is just to get in early and stay in it for the long game. Like that's where your real gains and money comes from. There's no like, oh, buy a $10 stock, it turns into 200 tomorrow and then sell. It's like it doesn't happen.
Oh God, is that like the blue-pilled incel right there on your picture, TRP?
Yeah, that's a male feminist right there. I forget, this guy went viral for doing something stupid or some cringy posts, but yeah, that's what a male feminist looks like right there. Yeah, no.
Looks like one for sure, man. They all have the same like face. It's like they always have like this like weird like. If you look at their eyes, they're always like very very round eyes. Very
Those
very,
are
like,
prey eyes.
Yeah, they have prey eyes. Long ugly ass nose. Typically like.
Yeah, dude, the fucking new male face, like.
Yeah, a new male face. Big glasses. I have big glasses too, so I can't talk. But big glasses. They got the whole damn thing going on.
No, that PUH chat was it's pretty hilarious, man. But when do you think it's actually going to end? Like, when do you realistically think like a vast majority of guys are going to be okay? These guys are fucking grifters, and this is autistic. Like, why am I approaching hundreds of women a day only to get rejected over and over again? And on top of that, writing down my rejections on a fucking clipboard. Come on.
Like on some level, you have to come to like a realization, like on your own, of like it's kind of like a pyramid scheme. Like at some point, once you lose enough money and enough time and enough resources, you're gonna have to come to like you have to like be honest with yourself. The problem is like people have this sunk cost fallacy thing about their work or when it comes to stuff like that. So like, okay, well I've already invested all this time into this, so it better work. If it doesn't work, then I'm gonna keep doing it because I already wasted all my time. When in reality, they should just stop. Like they should just stop and just stop. That's the sunk cost fallacy. It's like or the a gambler's fallacy, where like you keep gambling thinking that the next time you're gonna get lucky, and it's like, well, it's not gonna work. But the problem is that like it's a fallacy. So Jesus is in the chat. What the fuck? People will keep on Jesus is trying to get in here. You guys. Yeah, but the problem is the stuff like the sunk cost fallacy and stuff like that. Like you end up with stuff like that, so people will keep on buying and buying and buying and buying and buying, not knowing that they aren't ever going to win.
Are you talking about Diff-He's in the chat? He's trying to get in again.
Yeah, he's called Jesus now.
No, no, dude, I can't. You got an afterlife.
Man, I just had a light bulb moment. Dip in the holy saint of holy maxing.
Should I let him back in here or what?
Yeah, well, it'll be like a halftime show. Yeah, why not?
What's going on, Jesus? How you doing?
What's up? Where is Rush V?
Where is Rich V?
Oh, he's a relic, man. I think he was trying to sell his book. No one was buying his book.
but he takes the God pill, right?
He did take the God pill. He finally realized that shit. I was being a filthy, degenerate fuck, so I should probably take the God pill now before it's too late.
Yeah, and you should believe in Jesus too. You need to stop watching porn and jerking off.
Hey, I have a question for you. Like, where are you from?
From Portugal.
You Portuguese.
Start
Shit.
reading the Bible.
When today?
Yeah, and forget about sex.
So at what point do I get to like go to heaven?
Heaven is here on earth.
Oh, okay. That's not what the Bible told me, but okay. I thought it was somewhere else.
So Dippin, tell me the the
No, wait, no,
incel.
it's Jesus, dude.
Oh, yeah. So Jesus, tell me what the incel problems like in Portugal.
I don't know. I just care about Jesus.
All right.
Yes, sir. uh,
You need to believe in God.
I agree. Okay, I'll start pumping in religious stuff into my stream every once in a while to get them all in here.
do you guys know who Southern Israelite is? Southern Israelite, the like guy's trying to cult leader Max on, and he went on MD's stream only to spurg out.
What? No, I had no clue what's going on with that.
Yeah, I know. Apparently, this guy is like, he's trying to say the Old Testament's the only way to structure society, and he's trying to build like an ethno-religious state or something ridiculous. But the entire time, he's just grifting. Like he charges for you to get on his Discord, for on his all these different things. I'm like, yeah, no, right? Like it's so evident. But yeah, no, I called him out. Like I called him out on a bunch of stuff. Like I'm like, you're an idiot, bro. You can't use a book that contradicts itself. Forget about like even numerically contradicts itself so heavily. Like that's not a basis to formulate a society. Like I posted that one quote from the Bible in the chat. There are many of those violent quotes. Like you can't cherry pick and reiterate the same like 10 feel good quotes. Like eventually people are going to be like, oh, this is in the Bible too. So now let's start killing babies. Like, come on.
Damn. I guess I don't know what the fuck's going on with that guy.
Yeah, the guy's fried. He's calling himself the greatest teacher of mankind. There's something like ridiculous, but like I can't. But that's what that leads to. That kind of mentality, like this arbiter of justice, like like kind of like a Judge Dredd type of mentality, where I'm judge, jury, and executioner.
Mm. I was gonna bring up one more final topic before I hop off of here. It'll come back to me. Anyone else got a topic you want to bring up?
Yeah, no, I wanted to reiterate the dip in. Like, I will admit this now. Like, I am like I do believe in a God, and I wouldn't say practicing, but I do believe in religious tenets. But I don't have logical ways that that we talk about this in my stream too, where I come to those conclusions. Like I don't try to be like the Bible says this, or the Quran says this, or fucking like the Torah says no. Like you have to come to some kind of an actual like manifestant like conclusion on your own. Like you can't just believe and you just believe, right? Like that's not how it works.
Oh yeah, TRP. I was gonna bring up the free will versus determinism thing because you're a free willer, right?
Yeah, I'm a free
We
willer.
kind of
Yeah,
had the when we had the mini debate there in your stream, but like, I'm not
yeah.
sure
If you want, it'd be
if you
entertaining.
want
Yeah,
to go in depth on that or not tonight. But
Yeah, no, for sure. Like I find a lot of people like these topics and they really enjoy the whole like metaphysical physics based determinism and all. Like people really enjoy it, and I find, because no offense to Dippin, like I think he's a funny guy, he's a cool guy, but most people that try to argue for religion are not really the brightest bulb. You know what I'm
They're
saying?
not really equipped to do it. What it feels like.
Yeah, they kind of just make us look like Bible thumping morons that yell at people in the middle of the street, like you're going to hell, you're a whore, this and that, which actually happens in downtown Toronto. Like you have these Bible thumpers that get into it with random people in the fucking like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, you're doing no justice right now to your cause. You know?
Yeah. So, what's your basis for believing in free will?
My basis for it, it's really hard to explain, but like yeah, I'd have to go over like some foundational stuff. Like it's really hard to. But first off, I believe that reality is heavily interpreted. Like there is no actual real basis for real. I believe that reality is just a simulation designed to test consciousness in a sense. And the easiest way I can prove this is consciousness is a consensus in a sense. But if you had like if you had, for instance, a society full of schizophrenic people that saw illusions around them, and you were the only one with the current state of consciousness as it is now, those people can formulate axioms alongside that reality where the laws of physics, which they interpret, are different from what you conventionally interpret now. So, my point is that if we have no real concrete basis for reality, in a sense, something that can be disassociated from what we interpret to be true, then in a sense, like that to me is inexplainable. But that would be where I would start off to prove that.
Yeah, my starting point for determinism, I think I told you this in the chat or in the last stream, was is basically cause and effect, and that unless you have some sort of uncaused cause that can give you free will, you always have to have some sort of cause that leads you to do an action. So there you can't have something. We can't get something from nothing, as far as we know. It has to come from somewhere. So our actions have to come from previous experiences and previous either genetic or environmental, for at least for human free will.
Interesting, but at the same time, if you look at it in terms of, okay, so many people have a misconception that the universe is continuous, like it's not discrete. But a better representation for how the universe is structured is a kind of like a graphing paper, like a dot matrix, and it has to be that way in a sense, because if you don't have a discrete finite points of existence, you create kind of like a black hole type scenario where all matter would be imploded into that scenario. But my point here is that the universe follows a structure in which it waits for input and then it rearranges itself and then it waits for another input and rearrange. If you had no conscious input, then the universe would cease to exist, because now you've created another type of implosion in a sense, because now that there's no decision making to keep the loop alive, then the loop consumes itself, and now you have a scenario where like everything happens in a time equivalent to 1 over infinity, meaning that it just doesn't happen.
I guess my question to you would be: is that decision making? Is that free will, or is that deterministic? Couldn't that decision making just be off of like prior experiences, basically the matter of cause and effect? So like you can't have that decision making in a vacuum. It doesn't just come from nowhere. It comes from somewhere. Correct.
So the way I would say that happens is that consciousness, first you have to have the vessel like evolve over time, obviously, because it has to. You're right. It does have to have a cause and effect, because if there was a grand creator, then he would logically create things in a way where over some extended period of time, consciousness has to, like the vessel would evolve through whatever biochemical means into the way it's structured now. So before then, yes, it is deterministic. But here's the caveat and the proof for my theory as to what I mean. Okay, the only reason you know that the universe is as long as it is, or human existence or conscious works are as long as they are, is because you've had a chain of narration, a chain of people that have told you that time existed and consciousness existed prior to this. But before that chain of event, technically, it would be true to say that everything happened in an instant, as I've proven before, due to that implosion. It would be true from a logical sense to apply that everything existed in the smallest unit of existence
I mean,
because there was no
everything,
input.
technically speaking, I think according to Einstein, everything exists right now. I believe, according to like, I don't know the theory per se, but I think even he admits that everything exists right now. Like there is no the past and the future are simply illusions for us. Like
Yes, this is true. Yes, yeah, I would agree with that. Like the future, what would happen if you time travel into the future? Here's something that people don't really understand. So, like, imagine like a linear line, like you're on that line, like a y equals x graph as it's moving to infinity. But if you were to transport yourself, say even 1 unit ahead of that time, you'd be in a vacuum because nothing exists. It's just geometry, time at the end of the day. It's just like a discrete, it's a different type of geometry. So I do agree with that. And the past, yes, the past does exist in my opinion. Like the past has to has to exist. But according, like in physics, obviously, like the particle has no notion of past events. Like it doesn't have a memory associated with it. That's the theory in physics. It's a prevalent one, but the particle doesn't have memory in a sense. Like it just reacts in the instant. So that is true to some degree.
Are you talking about like Schroding? Oh, can you hear me?
yeah, we can hear you now.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, I was AFK for the last few minutes. Not to interrupt, but were you talking about Schrodinger's?
Cat,
Was it experiment cat in the box?
this cat's dead and both alive at the same time.
Yeah, I know about that equation. Like, if you guys want to know some background about me, yeah, my undergrad is in physics and mathematics. So
Okay.
so I do know what the Schrodinger equation is for the most part, and how general relativity equations do work, and how tensors and metric tensors, all that stuff work. But that's the point. Like the Schrodinger equation, in a sense, not really, because the fact that you can consciously birth that experiment in your mind means that it exists. But what I'm more referring to is for you to birth something that you have no capacity to birth. For instance, like a new, like something outside of your interpretive framework, such as a new color or a new like to extend the electromagnetic bandwidth frequency or something of that nature. Like it's not in your framework to do so.
Like, do you know what the hell? All these names are like difficult to remember and
Heisenberg?
pronounce.
Heisenberg uncertainty? Yeah, I know what that is.
What is it? The Michelson interferometer for trying to measure gravity waves.
Yeah,
It's like,
no.
how do you even come up with that kind of shit?
No, yeah, I haven't gone that far into gravity waves in my education. Right now I'm more diverging into like psychology and biology. But yeah, no, I heard, well, gravity waves are really, from what I know, really hard to measure because they're very small. Gravity is a very weak force in a sense. So it's one of those forces where if you were to find a particle, or the force transmitting particle for gravity, would be almost impossible because it's immeasurable in a sense. But yeah, no, like back to the topic at hand. Like
Yeah.
that's my point. Like I find that consciousness is necessary for the loop to exist. Because think about it: what if human existence ended? Human consciousness existence ended. Wouldn't everything technically occur in the fastest instance of time, meaning it doesn't occur? Like that's the basis for that cat alive and dead experiment. Like if a tree were to fall, would it really to fall? Technically, the fact that you birthed that experiment means that it is to fall, but it's not within your framework of interpretation. It's a type of loop, but these loops are necessary for existence to occur, in a sense.
Yes, some of the stuff is above my pay grade, so but yeah, so like for me, like the reason why free will doesn't appear to work, for in my opinion, is only because of, like, especially when it comes to human beings, talking about human experiences here. Like, I just use the basic. I'm more versed in like psychology and sociology than I am about physics. But like, you know, when I'm talking about people, like when someone is born, I don't believe in like tabula rasa, where it's like people are just born in a blank slate. I think that we have a temperament, we have certain things that are ingrained into us, and then as we grow up and the epigenetic factors affect us, our environment shapes us, and stuff. Things happen to us. That stuff shapes us to be a person that will act in a way that is designed by the environment and via our genes. That's where I think we can throw free will out of the door, because obviously you aren't acting in a way that is like based off of something else. You're acting based off of your environment and your genes. This is all that we know. Even with stuff like consciousness, we don't really know where it comes from. Like, it's very, very, like, we used to say it came from the brain, but then we came to realize that it kind of comes from, we don't really know where consciousness really sits in the brain or anywhere in the human body, really. Like, it's almost like, so it feels like almost like spiritual in a way.
Yeah, no, I do study this. I do research on this. I don't want to reveal. I don't want to dox myself, because
Yeah,
if
sure.
I tell you what I
Yeah.
think of it, then it's pretty obvious that I just dox myself. But because you could just research what I'm saying. But what I believe personally is,
Sure.
okay, so there are two fundamental interactions that breed the existence around us. There's energy, and then there's the blueprint of the space around you. In a sense, energy follows what I like to call a geoenergetic blueprint of existence. For instance, somebody had to have laid out that blueprint for the existence. Yeah, obviously, matter exploded outwards to fill out the space outwards, but the fact that if you arrange the smallest unit of energy, or to elaborate outwards, like electrons around the proton and neutrons in the same matter, it will always produce oxygen. But that blueprint for the oxygen doesn't arise from the fact that matter exists. It arises due to the space around the matter. Like, the space gives that blueprint to the matter. But in a sense, I'll give you another example. Quantum mechanics, actually, you're right about determinism. It was a big issue, but when quantum mechanics arose, quantum mechanics is actually a rather interesting theory, in a sense that there are different schools of thought with different mathematical and logical methods to arrive at the same answer. In abstract algebra, I believe they're called, I forget, it's been a long time since I've studied abstract algebra. They're called transformation or linear transformations of different bases, meaning that if you have a mathematical way to represent something in one mathematical term, such as polynomial representation for your theory, you can use basis vectors, like transformation of basis vectors, to transform that mathematical methodology into differential equations, or maybe matrix-based manipulation. But the point of this is that for quantum mechanics, I believe, I don't know the exact number, there are it's some like wildly obscene number, like 10 million ways logically and mathematically differing that you can come to the same answer. But logically differing is the important part here, in a sense. Why logically differing is important is because if they differ logically, then why does concise existence exist if there is that much of a logical inconsistency of methodology and process? Meaning that determinism, that kind of disproves that determinism factor, because we cannot determine why determinism even exists if there's not much of a variation.
I've always
why.
heard that the quantum realm is more not deterministic, but it becomes more probabilistic, where like the probability of something happening in the quantum realm would determine what happens on we would say the 2 to 3D realm, I guess. I'm not sure if I'm using the right terminology here, but I'm not sure how true what I just said is. But I've always heard that the quantum realm is far more probabilistic than it is deterministic. Is that accurate?
Yes, but Einstein, I'm almost at the Einstein camp that there might be a hidden, like, because it's an incomplete theory in a sense. Like, there's a hidden, like, maybe variable or property of matter. Because here's the one biggest issue that we have with quantum mechanics, for instance, for spin. Because when you have a perfect sphere, how do you know what direction the perfect sphere is spinning in? Because there's no way, because there's no, like, for instance, like a basketball, you can tell where it's spinning. But what if the basketball was perfect in a sense, and that there are no real, like, like there are no lines on it, there are no scratches, marks. There's no way to determine where it's spinning. Like it's an impossible. Like where would it be spinning? Like it all looks the same because spinning or not, it would look the same. It would be impossible to tell in a sense. So that's one issue why it's probabilistic. But is it really that goes back to philosophy and metaphysics? Like I don't know. Like if we were to ask me, I don't think that's probabilistic. I think the probabilistic distribution arises due to a like an unknown property of matter.
Hmm. Okay.
Is this where like light is a particle and a wave at the same time?
Oh yeah, that's also another. Actually, everything is a particle or a wave. Believe it or not,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's very interesting. Actually, there are matter waves, and like we ourselves have a wave representation when we're in motion. I think you need momentum for very large particles to have wave resonance because there's an equation for waves. I forget what it is. Like I think it's for the frequency. Like it's momentum over like wavelength or something. I forget, but it's been too long since I've really studied it in depth.
Yeah, this is turning out to be super high IQ.
Yeah, too high. Dude.
And the fact that I can keep up with it is scaring me.
But that's my point. Like I have an actual logical basis for why it is that I believe in what I believe. Can I prove it? No.
Sure, yeah.
I can't prove it. I'm sorry. I will admit that. Like I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna sit down and be like, yeah, I can prove it.
The very simple thought experiment I use, I'm not sure, maybe you want to talk about it or refute it or not, is like basically I use Sam Harris has this good thought experiment where he says if you just roll the clock back of our lives and you played your life back over again, you would end up back in the exact same spot you were before. And that's where it's like, okay, well, if that's the case, then if A leads to B leads to C leads to D, where's the choice at there?
The choice lies in what decision you made for A to lead to B, the variance in between the paths, in a sense. But yeah, no, like the point is that like we're just gonna go on and on about perception and different frames of reference. Like we're never gonna come to an actual conclusion. But I wanted to do some justice for it. Like I'm not gonna just say, the Bible said this, and like you're gonna go to hell. Like no, come on, like
yeah.
Have you guys watched that Christopher Nolan's Interstellar?
I haven't, but I heard it's okay. I heard it wasn't like great, but I heard it was okay.
Yeah. No, it had some pretty interesting concepts in like the fifth dimension, and then it's this if you existed in the fifth dimension, it's like you're always being born, you're always dying, and so if you could view your life in the whole fifth dimension, you exist in this certain so to speak, this plane where your existence, you can access it at any time. So, you can see into the future or go back into the future or exactly where you're at. And so, I don't know, it was pretty like an interesting perspective. But yeah, the problem with this high IQ stuff is there's no right answer.
Yeah, no. Well, it's just an axis of geometry, right? If you think about it, like the fact that it's on a piece of paper, like a piece of paper is, you have an additional axis of geometry, so you can observe it in angles that, okay, if you were to observe a piece of paper, say, put the paper like Paper Mario, like in the thin edge in front of your eyes, you wouldn't be able to see it because now it's only technically one-dimensional for you, but it is two-dimensional in a sense. But
yeah. I watched the whole Carl Sagan explanation of the dimensional shifts.
Yeah, so if you have an extra axis of dimension, that means that you can elevate yourself to a point where you have more view of previous dimensions, in a sense. That's all dimensions at the end of it, like dimensional analysis.
Should I let in Jesus exorcism into the chat?
Yes, please, bro. Let's see what he has to say.
Okay, this is the last time, and then I'm probably gonna cut the stream off pretty soon after this. So let's see.
Yeah.
Let's get him in here. All right, dude. What do you have to say?
Donovan Sharp is a drug addict. So
Yes.
he have bad spirits.
Oh my fucking god!
He needs an exorcism.
Oh Lord.
Oh, sweet baby Jesus.
God can save him.
Any other PUAs that need exorcism?
He
Exorcism
needs
maxing.
a Jesus in his life. His name is Edwin, right?
Jesus fucking save my soul right now. What the fuck?
We're gonna start having exorcism streams where we
Yeah.
exorcise PUAs.
Oh.
Dude, imagine exercising a PUA on stream. God damn.
Hey,
Power of
Dippin,
Christ
do
compels
you know about Black Pill Jesus?
Yes.
Yeah, you should check out his channel if you haven't. He's pretty based.
Yeah, pretty cool guy.
I know every Black Pill channel.
Oh wow. Like I guess you
Yeah,
are
so,
Jesus, so I mean
join
I
my
guess
channel too. Subscribe.
I don't know your channel.
Well then you what? You just
Well,
said you
then
knew
you
every
just
Black
proved
Pill
you didn't
channel.
know every Black Pill channel.
How many subs do you have?
21.
Moving on up from the
Uh,
moving
that,
on up, dude.
2 months ago,
uh,
I had 3. So
I'll subscribe to your channel. There you go, buddy.
I will watch you later.
All right then. I'm gonna go and remove this guy here. All right, boys. Well, I'm not gonna leave quite yet. 'Cause I'm gonna read some of the comments, let people comment for a little bit before I get out of here. But you guys have any last words before I kick you guys out of here?
Yeah, no, thank you for having me, man. It's been a pleasure, and I'll send you emails for whenever I have my streams. And
Yeah,
it's
for
been
sure.
really fun kicking the shit, man. It's hilarious, and to
Yeah,
any of
it's real
my
fun.
viewers that are here, it's definitely something to Mystery School, man. He's a cool guy, level-headed, you know. So I thank you, man. But I'm gonna hop off, and that would be it for me.
All right, my dude. All right, see you next time.
yeah, I just got the same to say. It's been a fun Sunday evening, afternoon chat.
Yeah, always fun to have these chats. It's good to have a place where you can just kind of like chill and just kind of talk to people and get stuff out of here. You know, it's cool.
Yeah, and surprisingly, like this thing turned out super high IQ, and
Yeah, I was like,
damn.
what the hell is going on?
I'm like, I'm keeping up with the conversation, understanding everything. I was like, whoa, what's going on here today?
Yeah, it's so hard to get people to come on the stream. So it's like, or come on to actually talk. So it's like, I'm usually just reading the comments, which is like, oh, this is okay, I guess. But like, I kind of want to have people in here talking and shooting the shit and having fun. So
Yeah, definitely. I'm probably gonna hop off too, because I gotta do the stuff I was neglecting the past couple hours. But yeah, it's
all right,
been
then, buddy.
fun.
Yeah, it's been fun, dude.
All right, talk to you next time.
All right, see you next time, buddy. All right, let's read some comments now, guys. Let's see. Oh my God, there's so many comments from here. Dude, what the hell happened, Livers? You guys were having a fucking like literal philosophical discussion about fucking fucking what do they call it? Fucking socialism versus capitalism. My God. Like what the hell happened? Yeah, take care, boys. Read Estrogen Generation. Oh, I might have to read that book. Thanks for letting me. Yeah, no problem, dude. I lost myself for a minute there, not gonna lie. Hey man, it's cool. It happens. It's pretty fun. It's nice to have people come on, so yeah. Yeah, dude, fucking plastic in the fucking water. You got fucking chicks pissing fucking what do they call that shit? They got chicks fucking pissing in the fucking water supply with the fucking birth control shit. Yeah, it's all over the fucking place, dude. What? You didn't think I knew that? You don't think I fucking know, dog? Yeah, fucking true. Fucking birth control fucking everywhere, dog. Plastic and shit. Yeah, we're all getting fucking more feminized, dude. Imagine being a curry cell. Trying to keep up. It's cool, dude. Undead Walker. Oh my god. So tired. But I'll keep on going at least till about 10 o'clock and then I'll head on off. Come on, cryptocurrencies. Oh, come on. Don't go down. Go up. Go up. Higher. Oh my god. This is the longest I've done. 3 hours. Well, definitely no. I did 3 hours last week too, but this is pretty long. I exercise the simp spirit out of these soy boys in the name of the black pill of Jesus. In the name of the Father, the simp, and the holy incel. Same Black Ops 2 cell. Same in the name of Saint Bagel Cell, the Father, and Saint Black Ops 2 cell. I exercise thee in the name. The cuckold, the simp, and the holy I don't know. The holy something. Oh boy. So I guess our Satan figure is Derek Jackson then. Derek Jackson. Oh, isn't he like the big dude who was like talking shit about oh, Derek, that guy. Oh, sweet God. The Holy Roasty. Here you go. Yeah. The name of the cuckold, the simp, and the Holy Roasty. Also look into minerals. Lots of foods are deficient in minerals. Semen consists of a good amount of minerals and need to be replenished. Minerals are similar to omega-3 fatty acids. They can't be replaced by the body. So they be replenished through food sources. Yeah, this is why they're trying to get rid of meat. You gotta have that iron, dog. Keep that sperm count up. He had a shirt that literally says stretch mark lover. Oh my god. What a simp. What a fucking simp, dude. Saint Hamoudi would be proud, boys. He would be. Should Belle Delphine be the devil? Should she might be, but she's kind of losing her allure now because like since she did porn, it's like all the mystique is gone from her. So it's like, what's the point of watching now at this point, you know? Oh, mystery! I forgot to ask. Do you know Kevin Samuels? And if I know Kevin Samuels, yeah. And if so, what do you think of him spitting black pill truth in the broken dating of the black community? It's a good thing. You know, it's a really good thing actually. He's like the right guy to do it because he comes off as very, very a debonair and or debonair, however you say the word debonair. He doesn't come off as like an asshole, so it's like he's like the proper guy to do it. And he has a pretty good speaking voice too, so he doesn't come off as being like abrasive or really mean. It just feels like he's telling the truth, which is good. It's with what we need. Yeah, he's pretty based. Yeah, he's pretty cool. Just wear a suit, bro. Yeah, just wear a really tight suit. I'm not that fucking skinny, so yeah, pretty big suit for me. You'll be famous. Iron, but also calcium, zinc, potassium, selenium, sodium, copper, etc. Dang, there's a lot of stuff in semen. No wonder chicks want to slurp it down so much. HVM equals Chad. If you keep that in mind, you can see how blackpilling that show is from how the women act. Oh, high value male equals Chad. Yeah. Like they don't challenge him at all, or if they do, it's like very, very tepid and fucking weak because they know damn well that he is the shit. Basically, if you're Chad, you can say whatever you want and get away with it, and no one cares. On some level, it does help to be like halfway good looking because then it gives you kind of like credibility. Yeah, high value man. Yeah. This is where the center close and drive is foreign, bro. Yeah, it's entertaining stream for sure. Funny watching him destroy Floyd and why they can't get Chad HVM. Yeah, high value man. Just make 100K a year, bro. I'm almost there, but I'm not quite there yet. I still save a fuckload of money though, so. Just grow taller, bro. Trust me, I make over 100K a year. It doesn't get you Stacy's love. Oh yeah, trust me. I'd believe it. I make close to 100K, but not quite there yet. I do okay for myself, but as long as I'm saving money up, though, I don't really care. Investing it. The real black pill is that they will risk global humiliation just to get Chad and still think they should have one at 843. Yeah, that's true. Chicks are fucking delusional, man. That one chick who came on the show a while ago who looks like a fucking 4 out of 10 should be ashamed of herself. Oh boy, 14 people still watching on a fucking Sunday night in your fucking prime, boys. What's wrong with you guys? Just grow taller, bruh. Base advice. Yeah, just fucking break your fucking kneecaps. And get that dangerous surgery and grow your fucking legs. Hard 3, Jessica. Yeah, she really was. What do you do for work? I work for a government contractor. I'm like head of accounting and something, like a senior accountant there, so I'm not in my prime. Well, neither am I. I gotta lose a little more weight, but I'm doing okay. I'm just listening with my headphones on while working. Oh, what's up, Enrique? Just look like Commander Shepard, bro. 49ers. Yep, exactly. That's like the case point example of a 49er. Yeah, Foy Delusion is still amazing to watch. Noise. Yeah, noise. Just stand a step higher than her, bro. This one chick I actually happened to go on a date with was like, oh yeah, I only date guys who are like 6 foot, and she's like 5'4". I'm like, are you serious? Like, you're 5'4". You're 5'4". Like, every guy's taller than you. This shit is crazy to me. I don't know how people chicks do that shit. Oh my god. All right, boys, it's 10 o'clock. I'm tired. Any guys got any last words? Because let's get the last few comments in here before I get out here. Yes, they do, boyo. Tommy Lee said, good stream, take it easy. Just wear designer clothes and drive a foreign, bro. You already said that. Take good stream, take it easy. One's out of here. All right. Any more last words? Good night and sweet cope dreams. Yeah. I don't have to work tomorrow, so I'm gonna take tomorrow off. Do some fun stuff. Take one black pill daily by mouth for copes. It keeps the ropes away. Take it easy, boys. Peace, brotherhood, as always, guys. Yep. Good stream. Take it easy. Yeah, this was fun. Hopefully more people want to come on. Peace out. Remember, just swim, don't shout. The black pill suppository. Ugh. Sweet baby Jesus. All right, guys. I'm out of here.